to role play. All right, this is essential. This is a key element, right? If you sit there and you take a look at actors, all right, they just don't show up on set and they just jump into the scene. They memorize their lines. They learn what it is, and they add the emotion and they add their way of making it their own, right? Same thing with athletes. When we get to the pro level, it doesn't mean like, yeah, I've made it, I don't have to do any practicing anymore, right? Okay, practicing is the most essential element of it so that the games are easy. And that's why we do this. And these are the things that you want to incorporate. These are the habits that you want to start putting in place there, okay? So here we go, talking about this. What do scripts do? What do they allow you to do? Okay, they help you to lead generate. If we don't lead generate, we don't have business, right? Everybody can take their planner or their date book or their calendar out right now. And if we don't want to lead generate today, then we can already write in our book 45 to 90 days from now, we could say no business. Just write it in there right now, right? Okay. So without lead generation, we have no business. So it's going to help you to do that. Uncover motivations. We want to know, okay, why are people looking to buy? Why are they looking to sell? Why is it that they don't have their home back on the market when it expires? Why do they want to sell it on their own? Okay. Why do they have an issue with a commission when we're sitting there on the listing appointment and we're finished with our presentation? Why is that happening? Okay. We want to identify the objections so that we can address each one of them individually. We want to be able to talk to them and say like, okay, I understand your concerns. Here you go. Right. Most importantly, we want to close deals, right? If we don't close deals, we don't get paid. We want that paycheck on a regular basis. Okay? And, also too, speaking in terms the customer understands, that's where we avoid a lot of the jargon that we have here. Okay, we know a lot of this behind the scenes. We use it day in and day out, but we know more than 90% of the people that are out there. So in order for us to really have those conversations, we want to take it to a conversational level that they can understand, right? And the biggest thing, which we just had right here, somebody threw out there, building confidence, right? If you take a look at this, all right, we're gaining the knowledge to build our confidence, right? Once we get our confidence built, then we take the action so we can get the experience. All right, basically a 4-step process. We could sit here and we could script practice for the next 2 years, but you're not going to get that experience until you actually take the action, right? So learn these scripts, build them up. You'll be surprised how quickly you pick up on them and how quickly you start to make them your own, right? A lot of people in our office, okay, were very timid and scared in the beginning. They jumped right in, did the scripts, and very quickly, there's some of our best agents out there in terms of understanding how to handle objections, right? And if you think about it right now, what's the biggest fear that everybody has? All right, when we talk about building confidence, what's the biggest fear that everybody has when they first get into business? What are pretty much the majority of you afraid of? Because I was afraid of that too. What's the biggest fear right now?
Rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Not having the information.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Looking foolish. All right. Being rejected. We want to go in. We want to reject that rejection. You know something? It is what it is. Right. We want to build up our confidence. We want to get that knowledge. We want to be able to talk and sit there and say like, listen, here you go. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. And if we talk to somebody, okay, and they hang up on us, so what? They hang up on us. Call them back and say, gee, I apologize. I think we got disconnected. I wonder what happened. But hey, here you go. And then you go right into it. Break through that wall. Somebody says, well, yeah, I know my house expired. I don't want to relist it again. You say thank you and hang up, because I'll tell you, that's what all the new agents do. Or can you break through that and say, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Why was the house on the market in the first place? Where were you looking to go? Okay. If I could bring a buyer by and show you how we can get your house sold in a very short period of time, would that be a problem? No? Okay. All right. Those are the things that you want to focus on. And when you think about being hung up on, is that really that bad? Is anybody breaking through the phone and basically strangling you or stealing your firstborn child? No. All right. One of the first jobs I had out of college was being on the customer service line at an insurance company. And how do people feel about insurance companies, right? Nobody calls a customer service line to say, hey, I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. Love it. Keep up the good work, right? It doesn't work that way. People call you up to tell you how bad you are, and you got to sit on the phone and listen to that, all right? So there's a big difference between people calling you and calling you a jerk, all right, versus calling people and just saying, hey, I'm here to help you if you want the help, and then them hanging up on you. So we've got to get over that. And the scripts are really what are going to help us do that. All right. We want to go in and we want to be able to take these scripts, find out exactly what it is that they're saying. All right. Break them down and then internalize them on our own. Okay. We want to internalize them and make our own. We don't want to sound like Tommy Telemarketer, where it's like, hey, thank you for taking my call. I'm calling today because I noticed your house is no longer active. It doesn't work that way, right? Call them up, make it conversational, especially if you're talking to your sphere of influence, understanding how to approach them, let them know that you're in real estate, right? Okay. And somebody said it before earlier in here, say, controlling the conversation. If we're there and we're talking to folks and we're asking the questions and we're asking the right questions, and what do I mean by the right questions? What type of questions should we be asking?
Open-ended questions that they can, not just yes or no.
Yep, absolutely. Open-ended questions. Okay. All right. You want to get them talking. People like talking about themselves and what's going on, and you can get them to talk like that and just ask the questions. Don't give them answers. Say, so where were you looking to go once the house is sold? Were you looking to go to Montana? Were you looking to go to Alaska? No, just say, where are you looking to go? Let them take the ball and run with it at that point, right? And when you ask the questions, you control the conversation, right? You're the one that's on offense, and you're the one that's basically getting the information so that you can help them out, okay? And the biggest thing we talked about before, there's a reason why we have one mouth and two ears. It's so that we can listen more, right? We want to be able to listen what's going on. If we are not listening and paying attention to them and they hear that, that trust is already shattered and they might as well just hang up on you at that point. You listen to what they're saying and you can drive the conversation based on the answers that they're giving you. That is extremely important, all right? One way that you want to imagine this, okay, and this gets into the value proposition stage, but one way that you want to imagine this is that the scripts are going to allow you, okay, to be in a position where, let's just say that there was a homeowner and they wanted to list their home. So they gathered together you and 5 other agents. They sat you down in a room and they said, okay, I'm going to give each one of you 30 seconds. Okay, I need you to tell me why you are the best person for the job. Why should I go with you? Okay, how are you going to verbalize that? How are you going to say that? You're going to say, hey, golly, I'm a great agent. Okay, you've got to be able to present yourself and show yourself and explain your knowledge and, be able to tell them exactly what it is you can do. And that comes with scripts and with practicing day in and day out. Like I said, everything sounds good in your head until you actually verbalize it. All right. Okay. And I will say too, this is not easy, but okay, it's pretty simple. If I said, here, learn these scripts and you're going to have a successful business, not really much difficulty in that, right? And I fought that for the longest time. I will say that when I was at the other place and I was given scripts, to their credit, I said, learn the scripts and you'll be good. I didn't know what to do with them. And I fought it for the longest time. But once you start to embrace it and you're like, really, this isn't that bad. Okay. Then, hey, it's good to go. So that's why it's good, okay, to actually have these practice sessions and to actually, go in and understand these scripts. Okay.
Can I ask you a question about the scripts?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
To what extent do you personalize them? I've done cold calling before, and I've done scripting before. And if it doesn't resonate with me, I feel like it makes you sound like a robot. It doesn't work. You get those undesirable results.
Yep.
So I've always been in the habit of personalizing to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, well, I think that you definitely want to personalize them, but you don't want to personalize them to the point that you lose the point of what it is that is in the script. Okay. So I always tell people, I want you to read those scripts multiple times, and we'll talk about the process here. But I want you to read those scripts multiple times, and then what I want you to do is on a separate piece of paper or in the margins, side of it, write out what in bullet points. What is it that they're trying to say? What are the main points of that? Okay, so while it doesn't sound like you, okay, what's the point that they're trying to get across? Right, and then go back and rewrite it as something that you would say, and then take what you've written, okay, and talk to somebody. Sit there with your significant other or family member or a friend, or better yet, another agent. That's why you have little, accountability and script practicing partners. Sit down with them and say, like, okay, here, let me role play this with you. Does this sound natural? Does this sound like me? Does it sound conversational? Right? If you're using words that you wouldn't use, okay, try to use something that sounds like you. We have agents in our group and they handwrite everything. They do that so that basically they understand, okay, with this objection, this is what I say. And when you're on the phone, you can certainly have all this in front of you. You can have all these pages in front of you. It's different when you're sitting at a listing appointment, right? And those you have to know internally, but write them out. And then speak to them, make sure that they sound like you. That's the biggest thing. But just don't lose track of the main points that are in there.
Right.
Does that help?
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, good. All right, perfect. So take a look at these scripts that are here, all right? And read them. Let's take a look at the first one. All right. Did you find everything you were looking for? Where does that typically happen?
Retail.
Retail, right? Okay. What's the problem with that, with a question like that?
People just say yes no matter what because they don't want to be interrupted.
Exactly.
It's not open-ended.
Exactly. Not open-ended.
Kind of sounds like wrapping up the conversation, basically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it certainly sounds like that, right? But basically, I get no information from that, honestly. Did you find everything you're looking for? Yes. Where do I go with that, right? Okay, but you see that a lot in retail. And they're just checking to make sure that everything is good, right? We want to dig deeper if we were to ask that question on our end, right? Say, go ahead, look around, please let me know if I can help you, okay? Where typically do you hear that?
Retail.
Retail, right? Right. Exactly. And that's something too. I mean, go ahead, look around, please let me know if I can help you. We can equate that to real estate, where if somebody says, if you're talking to a potential buyer and they haven't been pre-approved by a lender, you say like, okay, tell you what, contact your lender, and when you're ready, you get back to me. You think they're going to call you? Nope. But if you say, hey, listen, let me set you up with a lender I have, we'll do actually a little three-way text, we'll get you set up with an appointment, I'll have them call you, we'll get together next Monday after you've had a chance with them to talk with them, and then we'll move forward, okay? How about the last one? See you admiring that big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? Okay. If you take a look at all these, we already said that these are all retail, retail questions from the retail environment, right? But do they sound kind of salesy? Right? Somewhat, maybe, possibly, but they're not really anything that can help you to get information. Kind of salesy. You're pretty much getting canned responses when you ask these types of questions, right? Okay. So with that, I mean, these are basically limited questions. These are more questions that you find when you're really not looking to help anybody. It's more along the lines of just trying to close a sale at that point, right? So for us, we need to take a step back and we say, all right, we are not salespeople in real estate, all right? Yes, you may be at a listing point and you need to sell yourself in order to get that listing. That may be one thing. But the way that I look at this is like, in the parking lot out here, I don't have, a dozen different colonials and capes that I'm looking to, sell at rock bottom prices for the President's Day sale. It's just not the case. What I'm doing is I'm actually helping people. I've got real estate knowledge. I'm a consultant. I'm a specialist. And I'm there to help people with my knowledge, right? Somebody wants to buy a house. They don't know the process. I can help you with that. Somebody wants to sell a house. I don't know how to do it. I can help you with that. Okay. You have a real estate question? Sure. I'd be glad to help you out with that. Sure. Anything like that. All right. We are basically consultants and specialists, right? We're licensed professionals, right? If selling was that easy, then why do over 95% of your sale by owners fail? Can you throw your house on Craigslist? Yeah, possibly, but it's not like selling a car, okay? Or a used air hockey table or anything like that. This is the largest asset that a person or family may have, right? And there's a lot that goes into it, all right? So you got to take a look at this and say like, all right, how can we sit there and take our real estate knowledge and put it out there so we can basically get the information we need, so we can get the business, so we can get the appointments, okay? This is where the scripts come in, right? These types of questions just aren't going to cut it, right? We need to actually dive in and come up with what it is that's going to help us with our business, right? So removing limiting beliefs. What's a limiting belief?
An incorrect belief that tricks you into limiting your potential, a perceived glass ceiling.
Mental handcuffs.
Yep, mental handcuffs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's how they feel.
Yep.
Kind of a preconceived notion.
Right. Generally, it isn't true, right? That's why they call it a belief. All right. It's not a fact, it's a belief, a limiting belief that you instill upon yourself, like you said, mental handcuffs, right? We used to have a line in the bold laws, like, don't listen to your drunk monkey, but they took that out and they said, they worded it a little bit better, but basically it's that voice in your head that says, hey, don't even think about doing that. You can't do that. Why are you even trying this? You're going to fail. All of that. Okay. And this is what we have to overcome in the beginning in order for us to do that. And the reason why we have that knowledge, that belief, is because we don't have the knowledge to overcome it. And that's where the scripts come in. Scripts are really going to help you to develop that knowledge of your business. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our guide here. Everybody has your guide. Take a look at page 4. in your activity guide, okay? There's an exercise here, and we're only going to do part one for this point right now, okay? And the whole point of this is to write down, okay, our limiting beliefs. We've got anywhere from 1 to 3 limiting beliefs here in part A, all right? And we want to be honest. We want to put in there, say like, listen, if we're scared to make calls, or, you know, because we think that everybody's going to scream and yell at us, right? Put that down there, right? Take a look at it. Or if you've got a piece of paper, you can write it down there. You don't need the form itself, but let's take 5 minutes and let's write down what our limiting beliefs are. Let's be honest in terms of how we're going to do that. And then on the right-hand side, okay, let's take a look at what are some ways that we can overcome that limiting belief, right? If it's a matter of just getting the knowledge, then hey, we're in the right spot for that, okay? If it's a matter of taking action, then certainly we can do that as well. But what are we going to do to overcome that limiting belief? So let's write it out on a piece of paper or in the workbook. Let's write down 3 limiting beliefs, up to 3 if you have them, and then a solution to that. How can we overcome each one of those limiting beliefs? Okay. And let's see here. We'll give ourselves a few minutes to do that. We'll give ourselves 4 minutes here. Shouldn't take more than 4 minutes, hopefully. All right, we got another couple of minutes here, so hopefully everybody's doing well, doing some writing, doing more writing on the solutions rather than the limiting beliefs, hopefully. All right, tell you what, why don't we stop there? Anybody want to share either 1 or 2 of their limiting beliefs here?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, yeah, and then why don't you also tell us what you're going to do to overcome that as well too?
Oh, I'm hoping to get a help how to overcome them.
Okay, all right.
Now, the first one is a lot of time when I reach out to my close circle, which seems to be the best way to start.
Yeah.
It's working the best for me. Nobody in my close circle is looking to buy or sell. They're either comfortable in their own home that they're owned, or if they're in the younger generation, they're just looking for rentals, which is not really majorly what I do. One of my other major limiting beliefs is not to know how to handle objection and be quick about it. And usually that causes conversations to shut down really quick.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, number two, best way to handle that, just learn the scripts and role play and practice every single day, right? Go through the process of reading them, okay, picking out the points of what they're trying to say, all right, internalizing, make them your own, writing them down, and then role playing. That's the biggest thing that you can do, all right?
Even with myself?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring somebody else in, it could be a family member, it could be, friends, somebody like that, and say, hey, listen, I need to, spend 15 minutes, script practicing role play. How does it sound? Let me play this off. Okay. Absolutely. Now, in terms of the first one, okay, this is a common limiting belief. It's like, well, I call everybody and nobody wants to do anything. So what do I do now?
Right.
Well, what's one way to handle that? All right. What's one way to talk to them? When we have that conversation with them, are we just asking about them, or should we be asking if they know of anybody?
Right.
Right. Talking, right? And then, okay, hey, that's fine. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, right? The cycle between home purchases is anywhere from 3 to 7 years. Okay. However, there's always going to be that person who maybe they just bought a house and the house is the right size for them. And then, oh, by the way, now wife is pregnant with triplets. House doesn't fit anymore. Okay. So within a year, now they need to upgrade to another room, right? Or somebody gets a job transfer all of a sudden, right? Or maybe now that the market is really as strong as it is, somebody was thinking of retiring next year, maybe they actually do that this year. And the rentals, right? Rentals are good. Okay. Rentals set you up for the future. I can't tell you how many renters that I've had is like, hey, thanks for getting us the rental. We're looking to buy at some point in the next year or two. We'll be in touch. I maintain that contact with them. And sure enough, year, 2 years down the road, they're like, okay, we're ready to buy now. Excellent. What can we do? Right? A lot of what you do now is you're planting the seeds, but the most important thing is the follow-up that comes out of it. The fortunes in the follow-up. Right? You may hear that a lot. The fortunes in the follow-up. The first time that we call them, doesn't really, we let them know that we're in business, but then we just continue to offer value. We're not asking things after that, we're offering things, right? The big difference between the two. So,
Okay.
What else? What else? Sure.
Not
Do you mind
really.
if I,
Oh, we got,
sorry, this is Robin, is this okay?
okay, sure. Yep. I'm not sure.
Do you mind if I,
yeah, you can go ahead.
sorry, thank you.
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I speak to the lady who was just talking regarding her first problem where she feels like her best that she's doing is with her inner circle?
Sure.
I'm thinking, because it sounds like it's not working very well, so you need to just try to reach out beyond your inner circle, such as your dentist. Every time you go to the dentist, talk to them. When they're standing over you, talk to them. I sold the house to my dentist. Just anybody who you see, anybody really that you can talk to, just grab that moment and ask them about where do they live? Do they live nearby? They're thinking about selling in the next couple of years. Do they know anybody who is? But I have sold places to dentists, the head of my security guy at a place I used to work. You just have to try to get out of your comfort zone and really broaden your horizons there.
Yep.
That said, my limiting belief, you're welcome. My limiting belief, my biggest one, honestly, is what's the word I'm looking for? Self-confidence, truly. Like, I always feel like the person I'm calling, or you typically calling, if it's new people, like they know more than I do, even though they're just getting into buying or selling. But then I always have to tell myself, I am the expert in my sphere in real estate. They haven't been to the training, they don't have the licensing. I am the expert in their field, that field. So I have to continue to tell myself that, and so far so good.
Yeah. Well, hey, like we said before, it's simple, but it's not easy. If it were easy, then everybody had their real estate license, and we'd all be the same, right? That's not the case.
Yep.
Right? Not the case at all. So, and one thing to talk about what you just mentioned, I think it was Emma who had that when you answered her question. If any of you take bold, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that, okay? When you take bold, they actually give you this 150 question sheet called the bold memory jogger. And it has questions like that, like who is your dentist? Who's your dental dentist assistant? You know, who cuts your hair? I haven't had that in a long time. You know, where do you get your coffee from in the morning? Who delivers your mail? Things like that, right?
That
Those are
folder
people that-
called?
What's that?
What's that folder called? Bold memory?
When you take the bold course, and it
Mhm.
should be coming up soon, it's being done regionally this year, but when you take the bold course, there's actually a questionnaire, 150 questions, like who do you know? It's a memory jogger is what they call it. The bold memory jogger, 150 questions. And that's where you get those things. You got to,
Thank you.
and these are the people that you kind of know. You go from the people you know to the people you kind of know to the people you don't know. And that's that layer in between of like, well, you know, I know the person who gets me a coffee in the morning on a first name basis. I can strike up a conversation. So what Robin was saying is, you know, ask the questions, start talking to them, right? Expand that out. So good.
Great.
Darren, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Hope it's not too far off topic. I think it's pretty aligned, but for example, I have a neighbor who I know of. I didn't mention to them yet that I'm a realtor, which I'm going to, but I noticed that somebody passed away in the home,
Okay.
and my guess is that they're looking to put the home up soon. So how would you approach a family that just lost one, you know, lost a loved one without seeming, you know, not
Yeah. You
sympathetic?
know, those are delicate situations. All right. That's where, you know, you don't want to have that salesy aspect come in. I mean, obviously you want to offer your condolences and things like that. And just let them know, say, like, listen, if there's anything that you need, just let me know. I mean, you know, say I have my real estate license, so I can help you on that front. You know, if you want me to look after the house too while you're there, you know, it's not going to be your main point, but it's going to be something that you put in along with other ways to help. And, you know, just like when you have a conversation with your sphere, the first thing is like, hey, I got my license. You want to do business with me? You know, in this instance too, it's just offer help, offer your condolences and say, I can look after the mail. I can, you know, take care of the property. You know, if you need me to get anything, and, you know, I'm also a realtor. So if, like, you know, you need any advice on the real estate side, let me know as well. So just as that, you know, I wouldn't make it the main point of what you're saying.
Got it.
Can I talk?
Okay, sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I have, my 3 limited beliefs are, number 1, I don't want to feel pushy, and I do.
Mhm.
Number 2, I feel like I have limited knowledge. So I know I have my license, but I feel like sometimes I'm saying, oh, I don't know that answer, but I'll get back to you. And sometimes I feel like I say it a little too much. And number 3, I don't want to feel fake when I talk to people. I don't want them thinking that that's the only reason I'm calling them.
Okay.
And my answers to overcome that is practice, learn, and practice.
Yep. Well, number one, I mean, you do have more knowledge than you think you do. Okay, I'll tell you that much. You'll have a conversation with people and like, wow, did I just say that? Wow, I must have really picked up some stuff in that class. You know, that's good. They passed the exam, so something had to have stuck there, right? You know, the other thing is too is that you know, just because you say like, you know, something, that's a great question. Let me get back to you on that. So what? You know, we don't know everything, you know, all the answers to everything, but you know, people are going to respect you for being honest with them. I actually we have a new agent in our program, and she's working with the buyers, and that's what she said to them. And they actually took the time to call her up afterward and say, like, you know, something, we appreciate the fact that you didn't make up an answer and steer us down the wrong path. We,
Oh, okay.
you appreciate that. So you know, those things, you know, that's fine. And then, you know, feeling fake and salesy, when you learn the scripts and you make them yourself and they just flow conversationally, it's not going to sound fake because it's genuine, right? You're not reading from the script, and it's not somebody else's words, they're your words, right? And it's not going to be salesy because all we're doing is we're offering to help. You know, same like Brian was talking there, right? We could go up and we could hand them our card, you know, in the midst of everything that's happened, the tragedy that's happened, and we can, you know, be that salesy person, you know, but
Yeah.
that's not us. That's not what we do. You know, we're just offering to help, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'd say my limiting belief is that as a new agent, people won't trust or have confidence in my ability for them.
Yeah, but you know something too. I mean, that's a great way. That's a great thing that comes up because even when you're talking to your sphere, you just wonder if they're on the other end that they have confidence enough in you to do it. Well, hey, you know, I mean, the confidence comes from you actually demonstrating your ability by, you know, talking and having discussions, learning the scripts, okay, getting out and taking action and doing business. You know, people are a little bit shaky or skeptical at first. What they're going to do is they're going to actually see you, okay, things that you're offering, right? Number one, they're going to see you, you know, at the open house saying like, hey, come on down, you know, lovely house over here. They're going to see you posting statistics in town and what's going on. They're going to see you, you know, advertising a listing that came up, even if it's not yours, it's somebody else's, so that you ask permission to say, hey, can I post it out there to help maybe find some buyers? They're going to see you, you know, offering to do a CMA or a baseline valuation. And what's going to be going on in the back of their head? They're going to be sitting there thinking, like, wow, David's really doing a lot. I keep seeing real estate stuff from him left and right. Okay, so now they're forming that mental image of you in real estate. All right, it takes 8 to 10 times before somebody gets that message. Right? That's why when you watch that Super Bowl ad and you only see it that one time and you have no idea what that product or service was, right? But yet when the car's driving down the street with a goldfish on top and that really annoying music is going on, you know it's an insurance company because boom, that's been drilled into your mind several times. Same thing with real estate, right? People see you doing real estate. After a while, they're going to be like, wow, okay, yeah, I mean, this guy's really doing a lot of stuff, right? We have somebody in our office and this person wanted to focus exclusively on rentals. So he just was posting as much information as he could about rentals, availability, statistics, and everything just within his town. Okay, he asked other agents within KW, hey, you know, hey, can I, advertise your rental listing? And they're like, sure, no problem, go right ahead. Did that. He got 50 people that contacted him in one day once for a posting that he put out there. Okay, because people believe in it. The guy's only had his license for a month and a half, but they see that, so they believe in it, and that's what happens. And you're going to do that as well. More information to get out there. So if you want to be a secret agent, and they find out like 6 months after you got your license that you're a realtor, you know, you don't have enough time. You've got to start that process now. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Sometimes people say avoid rentals because it's a waste of time. I heard people saying this. Is this a limiting belief?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I know people who built their entire business on rentals, but you just have to be efficient with them. And you'll learn that process by actually doing rentals. You know, if you've got a regular business of purchasers or buyers and sellers and you throw in rentals, yeah, you know, nothing wrong with that, right?
Okay.
But, you know, if you don't know how to do that efficiently, then yeah, it can be very time consuming. But topic for another discussion here too. So, all right. So getting back to page 4 here. All right. There is homework for everybody to do. What you're going to do is you're going to take that top section. Okay. Then you're going to go out and you're going to find yourself 1, 2, or 12 accountability partners. Okay. Preferably within this group right here. Reach out to people that you see. It could be everyone and anyone. Okay. And you're going to have a discussion with them. Okay, about this limiting belief, and you're going to break these down, and the 2 of you are going to discuss it. The 2 of you, the 12 of you, whoever it is, are going to discuss this. All right, and you want to get associated with a couple of accountability partners throughout this process, because number one, you're going to need people to script practice with. All right, and you're going to want to do this. I know it's painful, I know it hurts, and people are going to avoid it like the plague, but I got to tell you, you could either sit there and you could rip the Band-Aid off now and get going, okay, or you can watch everybody else be successful. It's up to you. And here's the thing. First time is always the most difficult. First time is always the struggle. But then the second time is a little bit easier. Third time, easier. Fourth time, easier. Okay? Once you break the ice with that first one, you're good to go. All right. So get the accountability partners so that you can go over those limiting beliefs and break them down even further and have that discussion, right? It's great therapy too. All right. So talking about the benefits of using scripts, right? We talked about this a little bit here. All right. So let's take a look at this. All right, how are we doing for time? All right, so we got a couple of minutes here. So understanding scripts, right? We talked about this first one, right? Some of the benefits that come up here. Building confidence in your job ability, right? If we know the right words to say, man, that could take us anywhere, really. You know, we could sit there and, you know, if we have another job and we've been at that job for years, we've gotten really good at that job, haven't we? We really do well at it. We understand what we say. We know the inside and out, right? That's what we can do with real estate, just understanding the scripts, right? These also allow you to stay focused on the conversation in the present moment. You need to be able to be present in these conversations, whether you're on the phone or you're in person. Okay, the minute that you are not listening, the other person shuts right down. Trust me. Okay, if you're saying something that has nothing to do with what they just asked, okay, you're not paying attention to what they just told you, taking in a different direction, then that could really kill a relationship. All right, so just be focused. All right, you know what you have to say. But what you say is going to be dependent upon the way that they answer the question. It's almost like that choose your own adventure or the pathway or the flow chart. Okay, if yes, then go here. If no, then here. And then you're basically breaking it down, right? And you're handling whatever it is that they're saying, right? They allow for consistency in what's said and the actions that agents take, right? Learning these scripts in the beginning and really starting to build up your library, okay, allow you to be that professional who is there to help and answer questions and to assist them in whatever their real estate needs are. Because what happens is when you start doing a good job for somebody, they tell somebody else. And when you do a good job for that other person, they tell somebody else. And all of a sudden your business really starts to take off, okay? But if you're not consistent and you did something for one person you didn't do for the other, or you didn't offer, okay, you didn't tell, all right, then that tends to cause a little bit of damage there. So you want to be consistent, okay, in your service model and everything that you have there, right? But the biggest thing is listening, okay, being able to listen, being able to have that conversation, be present in the moment, okay, not thinking about what it is that you're going to say next, but basically, listening to what they say and then playing off of that, right? So I know a couple people have been in sales positions before, but has anybody else used scripts in any other role or any other practice or any other job that they've had at all? Any
Yeah.
other actor?
I was doing phone canvassing for a while to
Okay.
we used we used scripts doing that. People were super receptive to it though. It wasn't like challenging. There was almost never rejection. And if it wasn't, more workers.
Why was it? Why were they receptive to it? And why is it that they had very rarely had rejection in them?
Well, it was a super easy sell. I mean, telling people to come to a protest about, the Trans-Pacific pipeline or whatever it was that was going to kill all the vegetation within 10 feet of it in all directions. I mean, because it was sending bitumen and it was going to spill through like Vancouver.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm sure that you didn't just walk into that job and have that knowledge about all that and be able to answer those questions, right? I'm sure you had the scripts and they actually planned everything out and you can have that conversation with people too, right?
Well, somewhat. Oh, like I went to I did this program called Global Stewardship, and it was focused on making the world a better place or whatever. So we had like classes on like current events in the area as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So a natural fit.
Okay. All right. Good. Good.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. What else? Anybody else use scripts in a role in a previous job or anything like that?
Yeah, I kind of had to build my own scripts. I still own a small business that I do marketing and film for tech companies. So
okay, good.
I kind of had to go into that side of things, writing my own scripts and kind of screwing myself for years. So, but a lot of that came from trying to go from a production company to being producer. And a lot of that just had to explain to people that what your role was and coming up with, ways of explaining it that were quick and easy and kind of fumbling through it for years, but eventually came to a place where you can explain what your purpose is and what your value is to your client and doing it in a way that kind of, it makes them accept it, right?
Yeah, that's your value proposition right there, right?
Yep.
What is it that you bring? I mean, why should we choose you? We got 4 or 5 other producers that we're looking at. Why do we choose you? How do you come up with that? You can't just come, off the cuff and say like, well, I'm a good guy and I got a great beard and you like me, right? Maybe, no, I don't know. But you've got to actually come across and say, hey, boom, 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 elevator pitch, 30-second, there you go.
Yep, and value, I think distinguishing yourself from competition, but doing it in a way that doesn't sound overconfident, but with still confidence.
Yep. Yeah, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. So just make sure you don't cross that there. So, but very good. Excellent. Okay, good. All right, perfect. We're going to do things a little bit differently here. We're actually going to take a couple of breaks. We're going to take one here at 10 o'clock and one at 11 o'clock. But tell you what, Colleen, I don't know if you're monitoring the chat, but do we have any questions at all that have come up that maybe we haven't addressed as of yet at all?
Nope. The only one that I saw was a question about how the rental commissions work. That was the only thing on the rental discussion.
Yeah, that's something that, this is one of those, we're dealing with 6 different states here in New England. I think it is 6 states, right? If I remember my geography correct. Anyway, but that's something that go back to your coach, go back to your broker or your team leader, something like that. Talk to them about that when we start getting into details because it might be different in each state. And I really don't want to, say the wrong thing. Let's put it that way, right? Know your role. Perfect.
Yeah, and other than that, everyone's just trying to connect for script practice. So.
All right, excellent, good. Keep that up, right? Get that accountability partner. Find that person, find that 12 people, however many people you want. put that group together and make sure that you guys are meeting on a regular basis, right? Practice scripts, go over your limiting beliefs, things like that. Because honestly, the biggest thing you have, yes, you have support with the coaches and with the team leaders and everybody in your market center, but really the best thing that you're going to find is that when you partner with people who are at the same experience level as you or somewhat the same, and you guys are sharing experiences and you guys are having those therapy sessions and talking and all this other stuff, that it makes a big difference. I'm like, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. Okay, this is cool. I like that. You know, we can share ideas and different things, and it really does make a difference. Okay. So tell you what, let's do this. Let's take actually take a 5-minute break. All right. Allow people to replenish their coffee and do what they got to do, and then come back. It's 10 o'clock now, so let's say 10:05. Okay, around that time we'll come back to that. All right. Sound good with everybody?
Good.
We're good. Awesome. All right. So we'll see everybody back in about 5 minutes. All right. All right, how we doing with everybody? Everybody got a chance to take a break, do everything? One thing I will recommend is that once you start getting into scripts and calling and doing things, you'll hear this a lot. People will say, set up your bunker. And the bunker is where you basically have no distractions. You've got everything you need in terms of food and water and drinks and coffee and all that stuff. And you basically build your little area so that you can actually focus on making calls, either, half hour, and then you take a break, or 45 minutes, you take a break, or, wherever you're going to spend a few hours of just making those phone calls and reaching out to people, or texting, or social media messages, things like that. All right. You got to use a phone, obviously, but don't answer calls coming in. Right. That's your time dedicated to lead gen. All right. Don't answer emails. Don't respond to folks. Start laying out those expectations with your clients. Say, like, listen, if you try to get a hold of me between the hours of 9 to 12, I'm getting buyers for my sellers and sellers for my buyers. Okay. So I won't be able to get back to you. However, I'll certainly get back to you afternoon. Okay. Nothing is an emergency. If it was an emergency, the kids would be knocking on the door saying, hey, by the way, we started a fire with the iron. You want to come see it? Something like that. But for the most part, nothing else like business related is an emergency at that point. It can always be handled a little bit later. Okay. All right. All right. So let me go back to sharing the screen here. All right. We actually have a video that we can play here through the PowerPoint slide. Let me just see if I can bring this back up here. Can everybody see this?
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover.
Yes.
I'll tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent at the office, your team leader, a maths coach, or of course, Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that lead to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there? Ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo. Oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily. Everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
All right. So what do we get out of that?
Learning how to talk, and how to reply when in a conversation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. The last part that he talked about, right? Don't wing it. Don't come up with your own script saying like, yeah, I think this is what I should say or how I should answer it. When in actuality, I mean, you're just going to get shot down and you don't know how to take the conversation, right? So what else? What are some other things that we heard in there?
Ask follow-up questions.
Mm-hmm. All right. What you want to do is you want to go anywhere from 3 to 5 layers deep. And what do I mean by that? Well, think of it this way. If I said, hey, where are you moving to once the house is sold? Okay, moving to Toledo. Well, what takes you there? Well, you know, I have a brother who lives out there. I'm going to go stay with him. It's like, oh, really? Okay, great. So what else? And just keep diving into it, diving into it. Go 3 to 5 layers deep, get some more information. That's going to help you with the motivation. So if they say, well, we're not really sure if we want to sell now. Well, you're talking earlier about getting out and seeing your brother and spending time with him, whatever that may be, you know, wouldn't you like to be out there sooner? You know, we want to help you to accomplish that so you can be out there and spend time with them, right? Perfect. Great way to do it. Okay. What else? What's something else that we heard there too?
To kind of show that you're interested. Not that you're just asking questions, but you're actually listening by mirroring what they're saying and stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's the best thing right there is mirroring and matching. Okay, and if you really want to think about it, this is a good analogy I heard. It's like a difference between being Tigger and Eeyore, right? Tigger, high energy, you know, really, you know, upbeat. You're matching the other person. They are really high energy. It's great being on that level. And then there's Eeyore, right? Where it's like, okay, dial it back. Be a little slower, methodical. Let's talk, you know, and energy level comes down, okay? But you want to be able to mirror and match what they're doing, okay? Don't come in high energy if they're on a slower pace, okay, and vice versa, right? You're going to want to make that connection because you said 93% of the conversation is all in the verbal or the physical cues that we get, right? Okay, so just be conscious of that. One of the things that I would say that, you know, you should probably look into is Jeff Glover is one of the best agents around when it comes to scripts. I had the opportunity to see him 2 years ago at Family Reunion, and this guy stood on stage and he mesmerized an audience of several thousand people. He stood there and he just said, hey, just throw out some of the common objections you hear. And he rattled off objection handlers in every single one. Nobody could really stump the guy. He was just on top of his game. And the great thing is that he's got a website out there called Glover U. GLOVERU.com. And in that, he's got videos, he's got a podcast that he does, and he also has scripts. So he's taken the wealth of KW scripts and he's actually whittling down to some, you know, some more streamlined scripts that you can actually tap into. And I'd say he's got some great information right there. His podcasts are really good, and he does a great job. So he's got a very good business. He's out in the Detroit, Michigan area, and he does a tremendous job. He's got great videos on how to do geographic farming. He just came out with this podcast about you know, dealing with buyer and seller expectations. So really, really good stuff. And I definitely say that, you know, tap into that and see what you can, you know, find from his website. So, but don't want to see that. We've already seen that one. Okay. So now we talk about memorizing or internalizing scripts. Okay. What this allows us to do is basically take those scripts, find out what it is that they're talking about. Okay. And start making them our own, right? And why do you think we want to do that? You touched on it a little bit, but let's revisit that. Why do you think we want to make them our own?
To sound more natural.
Yeah,
Right.
so we sound good.
Yep, exactly, right? So we sound genuine, right?
Personalizing.
What's that? I'm sorry, Brian.
Personalizing.
Personalizing. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. You know, whether we're reaching out on Facebook Messenger or we're texting or we're calling, right? We want it to sound like us, right? We want to make sure that it sounds genuine and honest because you can immediately tell, right? There's always that person. Maybe the person happens to be an insurance agent or maybe a lawyer or something like that, that nobody wants to talk to at the family get together, right? Nobody wants to talk to at the barbecue because immediately what's the first thing they're going to say is like, hey, are you all set with health insurance? Are you all set with life insurance? Do you need an attorney? It's like, you know, that's not, we don't want that. We want to be able to have conversations and work in the value that we have there, right? We want to make sure that, you know, we sound like somebody who's genuinely willing to help because all we're doing is we're sharing our knowledge, right? We put the hours in for the exam. We took the exam. You know, we're building our business. You know, everybody builds a business the same way, right? And for us, it's about learning the right words to say. You know, if you take a look at it, you go to a concert, okay, and you hear a band or a singer up on stage, right? You know, they've had to learn the words of that song. If they went up there and they just kind of stumbled their way through it or anything like that, I mean, and they tried to, I guess, you know, hack their way through it, wouldn't really be a very good show. Wouldn't be a good performance, right? Just like if you went to a play, Broadway play, same sort of thing. They didn't really know their lines. They're kind of working their way through it, hacking their way through it. Not really a lot of benefit to it, right? Same thing with us. All right, we don't just show up and say like, I'm going to kind of guess how this goes here. I'm going to try to take a shot at it. We want to basically really understand those scripts. And if it helps to memorize them, go right ahead. I just say that you go through and you pull out the main points and you internalize it. That's the biggest thing right there, right? So if we're sitting there and we're in this business and we want to take the easy way out, we're going to say like, I don't need to learn the scripts. I'm going to do it. What are some things that can happen there? What are some consequences? What are some things that can happen?
Can sound like an idiot.
Yep, true.
Pass along incorrect answers, information.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Get yourself in trouble in the wrong way.
So one thing that we don't want to do, we're always afraid that we're going to pass along the wrong information. Well, yeah, if you don't learn the right way to say things, you can potentially do that. So.
And you'll learn how to make it more about them than about you also, which is always make them happier to talk to you.
Oh yeah, always make it about them. It is not about you. Okay. How many of you kind of get turned off when you see that that big billboard talking about, hey, you want to go with this guy for real estate? I'm the best. Yay me, right? Things like that. Yeah, it's just the awkward photo. It's just, it's not right. We're in the business nowadays because, let me take a step back. Real estate's changed. Even in the last 5 years, real estate has changed dramatically. Technology is the biggest piece of it. But we don't want to lose sight of the fact that you've got to have that one-to-one personal relationship, right? I'm not going to blast out 1,000 emails to everybody. And the email just says like, hi, insert name here. And it's just a generic thing that's not personalized, right? We want something that allows us to have that relationship. Like if you go to a car dealership, right? The white glove service and the way that they treat you, or if you go to the cleaners, or if you go to the coffee shop and they've already got your coffee made because they know when you come in, this is how you like it. I mean, things like that. That is what sets you apart. And that's what we do here with the scripts. That allows us to have these conversations to offer up our value. And if they're not ready now, that's fine. Okay, no big deal. But we're going to continue to follow up with them. So at the point when they are ready, they know that they've got a real estate agent on call, that they're specialists, right? Everybody's got a go-to mechanic, a go-to attorney, and blah, 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 all the way around. We want to be the go-to real estate person. And that's what we do. The scripts are going to help us to do that, right? And we want to internalize them. We want to make it sound natural, right? We could have two people read the same script, okay? Give them a day to learn the script and understand it. And when the two of them go, they're going to sound maybe completely different, but yet the points are still there. Okay, the objection handlers are still there. It's just that one is using their style and the other person is using their style. Okay. All right. So here's a way that we can go through. We can actually take a look at these scripts and really internalize. Now, I will say that in Ignite, they give you 2 script books. Okay. Number one, the first one for Spark is all about reaching out to your sphere of influence, to your database, having that conversation with them, letting them know like, hey, I'm a licensed realtor now. I'm with Keller Williams. Okay. I just want to let you know. I want to have that conversation with you. Just to let you know, point it out. Right. The second one, elementals. Okay. If you take a look at Spark, Spark is for the people we know. Elementals is for the people that we don't know that we're looking to add to our database. So we start with the people we know because generally those conversations hopefully should be easier, right? They already know us. Half the battle's won. All we have to do is just introduce them to the fact that we are now a realtor. We're in real estate. We're here to help them. Okay. So here's a great way that we can do this, right? So take the script, right? And really, when it comes down to it, when you're first learning the scripts, okay, just go in and with each objection or with each topic or whatever, just learn 1 or 2 objection handlers or 1 or 2 conversations. You don't need to learn all of them right now. Now, don't learn all 8 of the expired objection handlers, for what your commission is or something like that. You're going to overwhelm yourself. Just take 1 or 2 and then build upon that. All right. You're going to have that mental library that you're going to be able to pull out the file drawer and pull out whatever you need at that time. You'll learn those, but just learn 1 or 2. Okay. And read them. Okay. Read them, repeat. Okay. Repeat reading them. Right. Just read it out loud. Make sure that it sounds there. What I do is just take notes. All right. Read it, understand it, take the notes, write them in the side and say like in the margins or write it on a separate piece of paper and be like, okay, what are they trying to do here? Right. What are they trying to say? If somebody said this to me in one way, shape, or form, how would I answer? Okay. So you write it down. You say like, okay, how would I say this? Plain and simple. And then say it out loud. That's the biggest thing. Stand in front of a mirror, say it out loud. Get somebody that you know, a friend, a family member, okay? Your accountability partner, say it out to them so that it does sound natural. And granted, this is going to take a little bit of time to make sure that it sounds as natural as you, because if you're sitting there saying, well, this is the part where I add in the line about XYZ, No, you don't want to do that. You just want to have it roll off conversationally with folks. So you're just, again, offering value, not selling, you're offering. Okay. And that's what we want to do. And
Aaron?
yeah.
I'm sorry, it's Aaron. You were just on a roll. I couldn't find a good spot to stop you. I'm sorry.
Okay. No worries.
You have like something on the screen that's like blinking back and forth, and it is kind of distracting.
Really? Okay.
So I don't know if you can see the message. It says, please move this window away from the shared application with a yellow box around it.
Okay. Yeah, I moved the window box where everybody is, and that may be what's doing it. Let me see here.
So I don't know if it's making anyone else a little bit nutty, but I just keep seeing it, and you're saying so many wise things, and I'm distracted by the little message on the screen. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Let me see if
I don't even know what that is, so I don't even know how to get rid of it. I can't help in that way. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just
the interesting thing is,
complaining.
I don't even know what is around there, to be honest with you. So that's
Okay.
That's interesting.
So I'm gonna visually ignore it then.
Yeah, I apologize. I wish I could just sit there and wave the magic wand and get rid of it here, but I don't know what that is. So
okay.
Interesting. All right. I apologize. I've moved everything away from it, so I don't know why that's doing that. But
so all of us super visual people, we just have to like erase it in our minds.
Yeah,
we can do it.
Close your eyes and listen to the dulcet tones of Darren Get It. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Go back to your role, Darren. Go back to your role. Preach.
Dulcet tones.
Thank you.
I've never had anybody say that before, so that's great. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I wish I could get rid of it. I apologize, everybody. I'm not sure what's in there, to be honest with you. But anyway, I'll see what I can do, at least on my end. But so make sure you're saying these scripts out loud. All right. Make sure that you are there and you're having so that it sounds like you. All right. Everything sounds great in your head until you actually verbalize it. When you verbalize it with your accountability partner, whoever it may be, then that's where you're really going to lock it in. You're going to know, okay, yes, this is me. This is what I do. Okay. You'll know that you have actually really mastered the scripts. Okay, when you're able to just have these conversations very casually, whether you're at a listing appointment or you're on the phone, okay, you're maintaining your composure, you're answering whatever questions they have, you're asking the right questions, you're controlling the conversation, and you end up getting the appointment, okay? Nobody ever knows all of the scripts perfectly, so there's a constant battle, but you know that you've gotten to the point where you've really done a good job of mastering when you're able to get the appointment or at least have the conversation, okay, maintaining your composure no matter what it is that they're saying, and you end it and saying like, yeah, that felt good, that was really good. Okay. All right. So what are we hearing from here? What are some takeaways from this part of it here?
Repetition is key.
Yep.
Practice, practice, practice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Eventually, you're going to have to use it on a real human being.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like Darren said, after a few times, really, it does come more natural to you for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will say this too. What I like to say with practice is, and I use this a lot in sports and coaching sports, but it's not just practice, but it's practicing with purpose. All right. And practice doesn't make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. And you're never going to be perfect. But if you're not practicing with purpose and you're not trying to be as perfect as you can, then you could just be repeating those lines and it doesn't mean anything. I mean, if we think about this is either our primary job now, or this is something that we want to replace our current job with as our primary job. So to do that, all right, we have to understand how valuable this is. We want to understand that, hey, listen, this is going to make or break me right here. So understanding these scripts and knowing them and participating and practicing, that's going to make all the difference in the world.
Darren, if people have ever taken 6 personal perspectives from Keller Williams, Bruce Hardy, who's the regional director out in the Northwest, Australian, you can't miss the accent, and he talks about self-mastery. And the quote he uses that I love is, amateurs practice to get it right, professionals practice to never get it wrong, right? And you made the reference point about just professional athletes. Think about the Patriots, and we need to practice even harder now here in New England. The Patriots, the time they spend for a 60-minute game every week to prep, right? And we need to be understanding that everything that we're doing behind the scenes is so when we show up for the civilians, we present as our best self.
Absolutely. That's perfect. I love that quote too. That's great. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Practice so you can't get it wrong, really, is what you want to do. So that's excellent, excellent, very good. Right. Anybody have any questions at this point? Anybody have any questions on anything that we talked about here? I mean, you're going to find your own way of doing this, but this is a great model, great format to follow.
Darren, you fixed it.
Well, while Tim was talking, I kind of went behind the scenes. And I just closed as many windows as I could here. So hopefully, I was hoping you would say something that.
Yes, you fixed it.
I scared it away. I have that effect on people. Yeah. It's like, oh God, Lindsay's back.
No, not at all, not at all. So, all right, good. All right.
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if it's stupid, but
No stupid questions.
you know,
It's a judgment
that
zone here.
you know, I know that you need to practice the scripts, but the thing that I'm scared is like when the people ask me, how's the market? How I can get more, how I can learn how's the market, and that's what is scare me, that I'm not prepared.
Mhm.
You know, so
No,
where I can find it and how, you know, because like I'm new, so I don't know like how the market is right now and how I can learn more about that. Can you?
Here's the thing. Here's what I would answer. I would say, are you buying or selling? You know, somebody asked that, how's the market? Say, okay, well, are you buying or selling? Big difference between the two right now, right? In most states, okay? What you want to do is you also want to get comfortable with your primary information source, which is MLS, right? Your MLS. And typically in the MLS systems, I know that on the first page of their matrix, as they call it, there's usually a quick summary page in terms of what's going on, okay? Read articles, all right? Subscribe to articles that are out there. KW does a great job of actually showing you or sending you stuff whenever KW is mentioned in the news, but just on a local basis, all right? Start doing some research in there. Take a look at MLS stats, things like that, okay? Be in the know. I mean, you're going to find that now that you're in real estate, it's like when you buy a car, right? All of a sudden you see that car everywhere, right? You didn't notice it before, but now that you have the car, everybody sees it.
Oh, yes.
Right? So now that you're in real estate, you're all of a sudden going to be picking up, your ears are going to perk up whenever there's real estate mentioned on the news, okay? Or if you overhear somebody having a conversation. So start tapping into that. So MLS, you know, ask other agents in the office too. Ask them how their business is going. Ask them what's going on. What do they see, right? I mean, we're a sharing environment at KW, and agents are always willing to be collaborative and help other agents. Ask other ones and say, hey, what are you seeing out there? What are you experiencing? It happens to me all the time. You know, people come by the office and say, hey, how's business going? How's things happening? What are you doing? You know, and that'll give you an idea too. What else? Anybody have any other thoughts? Any other ways that you can get information or answer that question?
Hi, this is Tammy from the Portsmouth Coastal and Lakeston Mountains.
That's a big title there. Yeah.
We have a marketing person who on a regular basis, weekly, really puts out stats on our Facebook page, but then she shares it internally. And then through our state association, we've got some information for how 2020 wrapped up by county. So I'm sure maybe within your different boards and organizations, you may be able to find some stats that you can even share for your own presentations or even just on social media and so forth. So kind of check out with your marketing team to start with, or with your coaches, because Tim and Aaron are on here and they're sharing information all the time with us. So that might be a good resource to check out for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know at least for the Greater Hartford area that our MLS puts out these one-page sheets called Fast Stats, and it has information on towns or counties. And that's a great like one-page summary that people can include in presentations, or they could just review, you know, each week or each month just to get a quick update, especially if they're trying to specialize in a particular town or an area. It's a great way for you to get a good understanding of it.
I know what I do sometimes is I look to buy myself some time. So I either, if they ask, a lot of times I get when I cold call, people are like, well, how much is my house worth? And I don't have a full market analysis report built up, ready to go. So I kind of buy some time. I say, oh yeah, no problem. That's a great question. I'll be like, what's your email address? So I get another point of contact, and I'll be like, I'll send over a full report so you have an idea of exactly where it's at and stuff like that. So now you have the time to go and actually look it up and do your research if you're hit with a question right on the spot that you may not.
Yeah, I'd be careful about doing a market analysis just over the phone, like right there on the spot. So I always say like, hey, listen, you know, well, I wasn't sure if I'd get a hold of you, but you know, now that I've had a chance to talk to you and I've got some more information, let me put that together to you and together for you, and I'll email it, just like Jordan said, you get the email address, you know, that starts helping your database health score too. More information you get, so that's good. Great job, very good. All right.
I think with this market right now, the number one question that everybody asks, especially for prospective sellers, that, okay, it's a seller's market, I can sell my house really high, but where am I gonna go?
Right, absolutely. That's a big concern. Big concern.
I really don't know how to answer these questions.
Well, let's take a look at it from the perspective of, like, listen, when you are the seller, you have the leverage, you have the control of the situation, especially if you got 3 or 4 offers, right? So you just put a contingency in there saying, like, listen, sales contingent upon sellers finding suitable housing. Or you have a closing date that's pushed out, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months, something like that. Gives them time to look for it. Or you can say, hey, there's a rent back option. All right. We'll rent the house, we'll close, but we'll rent the house out from you for the next 3 months, until we can find another place to go to. There's a few different options there. These are good conversations to have with your leadership, okay, your coach, everybody, and find out, say, hey, how do we address this? How do we talk about this in our area, in our market center, and with that, because everybody is getting hit with that. Like, why would I want to sell? Yeah, I can make a lot of money, but I have nowhere to go. Okay, that gives you some options right there. All right, so now comes the time where we all do our script practice here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do some role playing, all right? And what we can do is if somebody wants to volunteer, I can show you real quickly how we're gonna do this. But what we wanna do is we wanna take the scripts that we have, the Spark script book, and it looks like this. It says Spark script book on here, okay? And in the front here, okay, there's lead generation scripts for the people that we know, all right? Either we're new to real estate, new to Keller Williams, okay, reminding them you're in real estate, asking for referrals, all right? So what we want to do is we want to go in and we want to actually have practice these conversations, right? Again, this is what we do. We practice before we actually implement it and put it out there, okay? So if we take a look on page 4, if you happen to have the script book, okay, there's page 4, all right? There is a lead generation script talking about new to real estate. Now, one of the things that you're going to realize is that you don't want to open up a conversation with like, hey, I'm in real estate. What are you going to do? Use me. Here we go. No. Okay. We want to use basically a conversational style that's going to essentially incorporate that real estate announcement in as part of your discussion. And we use an acronym called FORD. All right. FORD stands for family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. Okay. Or any reason why you may want to reach out to that person, okay? All right, talk about what's going on with them, how they're doing, how their family is, make sure everybody's still safe, everybody's okay, see how they are job-wise, all right? And when you ask them about that, what are they going to do on their end?
Reciprocate.
Exactly.
Wow, jinx.
Boy, oh boy, how about that, huh? In stereo, love it, that's great. Especially because it's coming from somebody in my market center. So she's listening. I love it, but they're going to reciprocate. Okay. So we ask them how their job is going. What are they going to say? Well, how's your job going? How's things with you? Well, great. The family's great. And oh, by the way, just started a job at Keller Williams, as a matter of fact. So I'm a licensed realtor. If you're looking to do anything, please keep me in mind. Or if you know of anybody, let me know. Okay. But let me practice this. Let me have this conversation with somebody. I'll show you how this would work, how we would incorporate, so that it just sounds natural and sounds like, hey, conversation that anybody should be having with their sphere of influence here. So does anybody want to volunteer to be the person on the other end of the phone that I'm talking to?
I will.
All right. Thank you. Is it Nick or Nicholas?
You can call me Nick or Nicholas. It doesn't matter to me, whatever you prefer.
All right. So we'll say Nick. Be casual about it. Okay. So here we go. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Nick?
Yes, this is Nicholas. Who is this speaking?
Hey, Nick, it's Darren. It's been a long time. I apologize. I haven't called you and I talked to you in about 5 years, but I wanted to reach out. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm obviously in the process of what we spoke about before.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. That's excellent. That's terrific. Yeah, you know what? I'm going through Facebook and I happen to notice, and I saw that, your 2 kids are like, one's graduating high school and the other one's going into high school. And then I remember when we were working together that they'd come by and have lunch with you. And they were, what, maybe like 5 or 6 years old. It's crazy. They grow up so fast.
Yeah, time definitely flies by. I mean, you know, in a blink of an eye. But yeah, that's true what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So how's everybody holding up with everything that's going on here?
So obviously with COVID, you know, things can be tough, but with the little ones growing up and everything, it's starting to get a little bit small where we are. So
Really?
yeah.
Interesting. Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because I actually just got my real estate license. I started with Keller Williams, so I'm actually in the process of you know, building my business and doing things. And you know, have you thought about maybe taking advantage of what's going on with the low rates in the market to maybe upgrade your home there?
Well, first of all, let me just say congratulations on getting your real estate. That's a great achievement. But we definitely, me and the wife have definitely had thoughts on selling and obviously upsizing because the space that we're living in with the children right now, we can't accommodate with. So yes, we have had thoughts. I'm actually happy you brought that up.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that's good. Well, hey, it's pretty advantageous for me to call you and have that then. That's good. That's good. So tell you what, maybe I'll send you a couple of dates and times that maybe we can get together and see how it works with you and your wife. Just kind of preliminary, just initial discussions and see maybe what works. I'd hate for you to lose out on the fact that interest rates are so low right now, but I'll send those over to you and then we can continue the discussion at that point. How does that sound?
That sounds great to me. I mean, we can discuss about some questions I have obviously about selling too. So that appointment would be very beneficial towards me.
That sounds great. So I'll send those over to you and we'll lock something in. And, you know, so what are you guys going to be doing? Do you have any plans for the summer? I know that, you know, has your oldest picked a college yet? I mean, have you looked at colleges or where does it stand at that point?
So yes, they're actually looking into college now as we speak. So
good.
That was a good point you did make. But I would obviously like to be prepared ahead of time. So scheduling an appointment with you would definitely be a motive.
Perfect. Awesome. That sounds good. All right. Well, Nick, I'll send those over to you shortly and we'll connect and we'll go from there. And, you know, tell the wife I said hi and, you know, tell the kids that thinking about them because they're just, you know, they're growing like trees here. So that's great. And then we'll get in touch soon and we'll go from there. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me, Darren. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Nick, you made that really easy for me. I didn't even think we were going to talk real estate. You threw me off there on that one. But say you handed it right there. Here's a silver platter. Go right, jump right in. Right. I figured you weren't going to be doing anything. It's no big deal. It's more along the lines of me just at some point letting you know I'm in real estate. So if you need something, let me know. If you know of anybody, that's all it is. But they call it a Ford sandwich, right? You talk about something personal beforehand, something personal afterwards, right? One of the scripts that works really well right now is saying like with everything going on, you know, I made it a New Year's resolution to reach out to everybody that I know, reconnect, right? If anything, 2020 has shown us that having those personal connections or reconnecting is really important right now, right? How many other people are calling you, you know, that you know to just check in on you, you know? It's not direct family members. Do you have like your dentist or maybe your attorney or anybody calling you, seeing how things are going, you know, or maybe a second cousin? No? All right, so checking up. People love to hear from you, right? That's the easiest conversation to have, especially now, right?
Yeah, you kept it super casual too, so.
Yeah. Don't want to be in your face, okay? I just let you know I'm in real estate. And then what I'm going to do is you're going to get neighborhood nurture emails from me on smart plans. You're going to see me posting some information on there, and then all of a sudden things are really going to start to click. But, you know, we're going to lock in something. We're going to chat about buying and selling and doing all that, okay? So this is what we're going to do. Aaron, are we able to go out into breakout rooms? You know?
Hi, can I ask
Hi.
a question?
Oh yeah, sure. Yep, absolutely.
Can you just do like one more role play where the person isn't interested in real estate?
Sure. That's fine. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, awesome.
All right. So do you want to be the person on the other end?
That's fine.
Okay. Now is it Janita? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, yes.
All right, perfect. All right, here we go. Ready? Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, Janita. It's Darren. It's been a long time. Haven't talked. How are you doing?
I'm good, Darren. Can you remind me of who Darren is again?
Yep. Well, we actually went to school together about 5 or 6 years ago. We were in that biology class that was there, and I know we chatted a lot and told we say we're going to stay connected, but obviously it didn't work that way. So I just wanted to reach out and just see how things are going with you.
Yes, now I remember. Thank you so much, Darren. I'm good. How are you doing?
I think you broke up a little. I missed that part of it. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I said, I remember now. Thank you so much. I'm good. How you been?
Good, good, good. Did I catch you at a bad time at all?
No, this is a perfect time. How you, what's going on?
No, no, not much, not much. You know something? I'm just going through my phone right now, and I'm trying to connect with people that are in there because 2020 kind of taught me anything. It's just that, you know, there's a lot of connections that I may have missed, or it's been too long, and I'm just trying to just see how everybody's doing, and I'm making it, you know, my purpose this year to reach out to folks. So how are things going with you in the midst of the pandemic and all that's happening?
Everything's going good. You know, just trying to stay home and stay safe, keep the family safe.
Good,
How
good.
about
How's your
yourself?
family?
My family's great. Everybody's doing good.
Good, good, good. And job-wise, because I know a lot of people are out of work right now. How are you holding up there?
I'm working. I've been able to work remotely, so I've been working through the whole pandemic.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's good. That's good. You know, a lot of people that I'm talking to, you know, unfortunately, you know, don't have that luxury. So, so that's the thing too. So, which is good, which is good. So, excellent. Do you keep track of anybody else from school at all, or have you heard from anybody else?
I keep track with a couple of people, but everybody else pretty much, you know, we parted ways and I haven't spoke to them in a while. So I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah, no, no worries, no worries. It's just, I know everybody's got a lot of changes and a lot of different things that are going on, and you know, I haven't really spoken to anybody. I just started a career as a real estate agent as well too, so I've got a lot of things happening at once, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm making the best of everything that's going on right now.
Oh, that's nice. Good to hear. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So if you need anything real estate related, let me know. If there's anybody you know, make sure you pass along my name here too. So,
All right, I sure will. Thank you so much for giving me that information.
no worries. You know what we should do? We should get together sometime and have coffee. You know, we just chat about where things, you know, where time has gone, at least at this point, and just to reconnect here too. So, you know, I'd love to get an update on just how your family is doing as well too. So, yeah, I'd love to, you know, at least at some point set aside some time if that works for you.
Yes, that sounds great. Whenever you're ready, you just let me know.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. Excellent. Okay, perfect. Well, Janita, thank you so much for the time. And I tell you what, why don't I give you a call in the next couple of weeks? I'll check my schedule and I'll see if there's a time that works for both of us. How about that?
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. All right, so that was cool. So you just basically were just, you know, getting to a feel of how they're doing, how's the family doing, and we just want to get that point across that we are real estate agents.
Right. Yep, you got it. You got
Okay. All right. All
Yep.
right. That's simple. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, and it's got to sound natural. It's got to sound like just having a conversation with. Now, granted, I mean, in the interest of time, I really tried to keep that very brief, but you know, you could be on the phone with these people for maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on when the last time was that you talked to them. And listen, they're going to be happy you called, right? If they're not happy you called, are they really a friend that you should have on your phone? I don't know. But you know, you're going to get a lot of benefit out of this. If you talk to 5 people in a day and they're all really happy to hear from you because they haven't heard from you in a while, you know, you've got 5 times the amount of happiness coming to you as that one person that you called. So it's a little selfish in a way too, if you think about it.
That was great that she didn't remember you.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Say like, wait a minute, you know. And here's the thing too. I've had people that sit there and say like in the phone here, it's like, well, I've got first names of people I have no idea where I know them from.
Yes.
We'll give them a call and say, hey, listen, you know something? I'm cleaning out my phone. I have your name here. I don't even know how I know you. Mind if I ask, you know, how we know each other? That's a great conversation starter right there too. Absolutely. You
Oh,
know?
that's good. I have a few of them. I just have one
We
number.
all do. Yeah, we all do. And it's like, oh boy, you know, but great reason to reach out. What's the harm? What could happen?
Hey, Darren, I actually have a quick question for you too regarding scripts. I'm a dual agent, Mass and New Hampshire, and moving from Boston to New Hampshire. I reached out to like a couple of people, you know, within like the, you know, Malden, Somerville, Boston area, and they're like, why don't I just use like a local real estate agent instead of you? And how would you go around that, you know, with working your scripts and stuff?
So somebody from your sphere would rather use a local agent rather than you if you live a couple towns over?
Yeah, or the next state.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully you're licensed in the state that they are, that you can do business. If you're not licensed, then there's really no point in that. But let's say that it's like 4 or 5 towns over. Okay. Conversation that I would have is I would basically remind them, say, hey, listen, you know, I'm building my business. Okay. And right now I'm going to give you 100% of my focus. Right. And being a friend, relative, or whatever the relationship is there and stuff like that, I'm going to make sure that you have the best experience possible because I want you then to go out and let everybody else know the great job that I did for you. And plus, since I know you, whether a relative or friend, it's like, that just means that like, I'm going to go out of my way to make your experience the best. I mean, why wouldn't I? I care about you. I'm concerned about you, and I'd rather have you in the right hands than somebody who just looks at you as maybe another transaction.
All right, thank you.
I think that's the part where you kind of you convey your self value, where you kind of tell them what you can do for them that maybe someone else in that area, may not be able to kind of do for them without kind of throwing those people under the bus. But I think it's all about self value in that particular area.
Right. Yeah, and we're not trying to badmouth anybody else, but we're trying to say like, listen, I know you on a personal level, so I can understand. I can talk to you, can help you out. I can, I understand your needs, and that's why I'm going to be focused, 100% on, what's going to be best for you.
I have something to say. I think that would be a really positive thing to hear if I were you, Jonathan, in that if this person is initiating dialogue around specifically why I would want to go with a bigger organization like Keller Williams as opposed to a local, then I would actually start asking them, well, what do you think that a bigger organization can do for you? Because they're already in their mind having that dialogue. They're saying, why would I choose Keller Williams over the local folks? And so for me, I would say, well, what do you think would be a benefit in that going with a bigger organization?
Well, it's like not just that, like with like living in New Hampshire now and trying to still work with people in Boston, it's just like there's like a 45-minute difference with travel time. It's just like, and like I know there's like the referral process. You can refer like a KW agent in the Boston area, but it's just like I just have trouble like working with people in and around the Boston area because like they would rather work with someone local than someone that lives in another state. But I keep telling them I'm still licensed in Mass. I can work all over Massachusetts, and it's just like they're like, well, I want someone here. I want someone to be here within like 20 minutes. And it's just like I keep telling them, like I can work around your schedule and make it there for that within that time for you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you're new to real estate, right?
No.
You're not new to real estate? Are you fairly new at it all?
I've been part-time for 4 years and I just went full-time.
All right, so you can use the advantage that the other realtors that are local might have more business in that area and you have more time on your hands.
I think to Darren's point, if you align your goals with their goals, if you're still, because you are still building your business, we're probably going to be perennially building our business. If your goal is to make them as happy as possible, your goals and their goals are perfectly aligned. I think that's powerful.
Yeah, that's really good. So to Nick's point, I would almost say that, instead of saying that I've got plenty of time available, because that may not convey the right image, I would say that, listen, I'm full-time, which means I do this all day long, okay? As opposed to maybe there's other agents out there that do that part-time. So again, you're getting 100% of my focus, all right? And then also to Callie's point, one of the best questions to start off an objection handler is when somebody says, well, I want to do this. Best thing to say is like, well, tell me, why is that important to you? What's important about that? So if you say, yeah, I want to go with somebody who's in a big firm, small firm, local, foreign, whatever it is. Why is that important to you? What's important about that? Tell me about that. And start digging in. Remember, go 3 to 5 layers deep. All right. So you finally pinpoint what it is about that they're focused on, right? Anybody can just throw, it's like, yeah, well, I want to use the local person down the street. Well, what's important about that? It's like, well, they know the area. Okay. They know the area. And that might be something that's suited for you listing your home. However, do you think that your buyer is going to be coming from the town that they specialize in, or do you think your buyer might come from outside the town or maybe even outside the state?
Excuse me, Darren, can you speak about referring and like how to get into that conversation about like you may be able to look someone up in that state and like work out a referral fee or something?
Yeah, that's something that's in Command. We'll go over that later on in some of the later Ignite sessions. But one of the great elements of Command and one of the applets, as they call them in Command, is actually a referral button. Okay, and you click on that, you get a full map of the entire world. And you can drill in on any area in any part of any country And you can actually take a look at what agents from Keller Williams are there. You can sort by their production or their locality or the market center that they're in. And what you can do is you can actually put out a request saying like, listen, I have a person who's moving to Colorado Springs and, would you be able to help them? And you can actually negotiate the referral fee. It's typically 25%. But what happens is that you're connecting directly with either a KW agent or a few of them to see if anybody wants to bid on that, so to speak. And then that at that point, your client, your friend, your relative, whoever it is that's moving out there is in really good hands because they're going to connect with your client and you're going to get a full, basically, report of, hey, we went out, we looked at these houses, we put in an offer, offers accepted, inspection, closing, boom, you're going to see all that. But there's that applet in command, which you'll become familiar with. And you can pretty much drill down anywhere, find an agent, come to an agreement with that agent, send them the client information, and then begin the process at that point.
Sweet. So you keep saying go 3 to 5 layers deep. At what point of the conversation do you initiate that? And do you mean if they give you an objection, go 3 to 5 layers deep on each objection?
If you can, you basically go 3 to 5 layers deep, or you go to the point where you find out specifically what it is about that. If somebody said, well, I just want to use a local firm, does that give you enough information? No. Say like, okay, well, what's important about that? It's like, well, we want to get somebody from the area. Okay, so tell me more about that. Why is that important? Well, the person knows the neighborhood. Okay, so why is that important? Well, if they see their sign all over town, then, that we figure that they're probably the person to go to. Okay, so now I've got something to use, right? They want somebody whose signs appear all over town. Okay, now my objection handle to that would be like, okay, so if they've got multiple signs all over town, do you think that their attention is scattered all over town? Possibly, okay. Or maybe you talk to them and then they hand you off to a team member, so it's not that direct relationship there. Okay, I know that me personally, that I will give you 100% of my focus, right? And look, Keller Williams has a presence in this town, okay? If you take a look at our stats here, we're in the top 3 and we've done 78 million in this area anyways, okay? And plus, your buyers are coming from outside the town, not necessarily in the town as well, too. And we are, number 2 in the state or whatever it ends up being.
Sweet. So the idea is to have them clarify their objections so that you can really distill what you're actually trying to respond to instead of just getting brushed off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, if you said like, oh yeah, I just want to go to the local firm. Okay, great. So where are you moving to once the house is sold? It's like, I didn't address that. I didn't go into that. So why is that important? With the local firm, I really didn't scratch the surface of that, right?
Okay. And are you using why questions when you ask or just the other 5 W's?
Yeah, sometimes I try to avoid starting off a question with why, because if I go to you and I say, why is that important? Or why did you do that? Or why did that happen? What does that sound like?
Sounds aggressive.
Probing.
Yeah,
Probing.
accusatory. So say like, all right, tell me more about that. What's important about that? What brings you to Toledo? Okay. What brings you to Montana? What brings you to Colorado? Right. But they're why questions that are wrapped up in 1 words. Technically, you're just getting more information. The more information you have, all right, the more that you can combat that objection, so to speak. Right. You can handle that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I mean, hey, the person who asks the questions controls the conversation, right? And one thing, one thing to get comfortable with is the uncomfortable silence. So if you ask a question, say, because a lot of people, like you talked about before, they'll give answers to questions that they ask. So what brings you to Toledo? Is it your job? Is it your family? What brings you to Toledo? So are you ready to sign? Move forward, get the sign in the ground?
When you get the other person engaged and they're talking, that means that they're invested in the conversation.
Absolutely.
And the minute you get them invested in the conversation, you have a chance to put what you want across in the areas that you want to explore.
Right.
The more you talk, the less engaged they are.
Right. See, if you're at a listing appointment and I'm fixated, I'm focused on you and I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm taking notes and I'm asking questions and I'm listening, got drilled in, dialed in, okay? They're going to remember that. Now, if the agent before that, okay, was sitting there and was like, yeah, keep talking. No, actually, do you mind if I take this call there? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. What did you just say again? I'm sorry. I was distracted. Yeah, I was answering a text.
The intimacy for the connection, right?
Right. Exactly. If you're engaged, it makes a big, big difference. Seen it happen. Seen it happen countless times. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go into breakout rooms. Okay. What time is it right now? Let's see. Okay. We're going to go into breakout rooms for about 10 minutes. And we're going to partner up with folks. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Okay. You don't have to do the script practice. Okay. But you also don't have to be in real estate. So it's completely up to you. I'll tell you that right now. All right. So when these times come when we have to script practice or make calls, do things, you don't have to do it, but you don't have to be in real estate. I'll just lay it out there. Okay. These numbers drop when we start doing the role plays and things like that. You know, good luck. Good luck. I'll just say that. All right. This is essential to your business. This is the biggest tool that you have in the toolbox is these scripts. All right. Getting to know them, understand them, and practice them. So with the script books that you have, all right, what we're going to do is just going to focus on the first ones here, either new to real estate, new to Keller Williams, we're reminding them you're in real estate. And whoever's in the room, whether it's 2, 3 people, okay, have that role play. Have one person be the homeowner, one person be the agent, and then flip it, okay? All right, that's simple. So we'll do that for about 10 minutes to get used to doing this, all right? This is something we should be doing on a daily basis. Like I said, we do it 12 times a week in our office, right? Twice a day, every day, and 2 times in the evening, right? Just to give everybody the benefit of doing this, all right? So let me see here. Aaron, are you on? Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, I haven't done breakout rooms, but what I'm going to do is, all right, so I'm going to put people in breakout rooms. All right, we're going to do that for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to bring everybody back, and then we'll have our break there. Okay. Anybody have any questions at all?
I don't have a script book.
Me either.
Okay. Are you on the phone or are you on your computer?
I'm on a tablet right now.
Okay. Because in the chat room, I think, did they put it in the chat room?
It is in the chat.
It was on the chat. Yeah.
It's in the chat.
I just downloaded it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So if you have it in there, it's in the chat. If not, okay, play off of what we just did. You got that forward acronym, right? Have a natural conversation where you insert basically the real estate.
I can hold mine up if you want to take a picture of it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to actually come through, but think of it this way. All right. You've got personal conversation at the beginning, personal conversation at the end, and then real estate is worked in there at some point in the conversation. Okay. Make it as easy as possible. Okay. Just work on that. Yep, absolutely. And again, it's in the chat room, so take a look at it in there as well too. Okay. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about, you know, anybody having questions or what we went through or any difficulties and things like that. Okay. Does that make
God
sense?
willing, at least one person in each breakout room will have a script book. If not, we're doomed to fail. So
yeah. Then yeah.
And Bethany just put it in, just put the
Yeah.
link in the chat. So it is most recent in the chat right now.
All right, good. Perfect. All right, so let's jump in and we'll go from there and then we'll get back together in about 10 minutes. Okay. Sound good? All right, here we go.
Can you hear me, Derek?
Yes. Yep.
You put me in a chat room where I was the only one in it, number 50.
Yeah, I'm gonna move people around there. So those people that only have one, I'm gonna move them.
Can you send me the invite again so I can go back in? I left it.
Yep, we'll get you in there.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna start assigning people here too.
Hey, Darren. Darren?
Yep.
Nobody was in the break room. I was assigned to.
Yeah, I'm assigning people now. So if anybody's just one person, I'm moving you to a different room here. So I'm just gonna go through everybody here. So
Do you want me to just join back to room 31?
yeah, we'll move people around there. So perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Nobody's in my room.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we're moving people around now. So
Oh, okay.
let's see.
Yeah, there was no one else in my breakout room.
Yeah, moving people around now. So we'll get everybody partnered up here. So let's see. Let's see, who do we have?
Hi.
Yes.
I was by myself at first, and then they put me into another room, and the person wasn't there.
Okay. Which room are you in right now?
36, I think.
All right. So let's move you to.
I've been in one and nobody's showing up, so I'm back to the lobby.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. I took
Same here.
Lorna's advice here, and I think maybe it was too much at this point, but
I mean, maybe the people that are on right here, we can do a script practice.
Super good.
yeah, let's do that then. That's fine.
So Melissa's raised her hand. She's going to do it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
So-
Who wants?
Yeah. Who do you, I'm going to pick on David Mooney because he's from Market Center 463 and he can't wait to talk.
All right.
So Melissa and David, somebody be the agent, somebody be the client.
All right.
Or
I'll be the
prospective
agent.
client. Go ahead.
All right. Hi, David. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Melissa?
Oh, I'm well. It's been so long since we've talked. How's the family doing?
They're good. They're good. Mary Beth started her internship down the street, and the boys are in school almost full time again, despite COVID. So it's good to get them out of the house.
Oh, that sounds amazing. My kids are still fully remote, so I praise you. Are you still working, or has COVID put that on the back burner?
Yeah, no, I've been lucky in that regard. I'm still working full time, and yeah, so things have been good on that.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
And now, are you guys still doing your activities that you usually do, or?
It's limited some of our activities, but we're trying to keep the boys active. You know, we can drop them off at certain activities, but you can't stick around. But for the most part, we've been lucky in the regard that we're relatively unaffected by this. So
That is so great to hear. Anything else going on?
Not in particular. No. I mean, business as usual. Things have been good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been challenging over here. You know, as you know, I'm in nursing, and I've been with COVID since it started. So that's been rough, but it's so nice to see the numbers have gone down tremendously.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. And your family's good?
You know, we're managing between remote learning. We try and keep our extracurricular activities, but you know what? I will tell you one thing, it's crazy. So all these people losing their jobs, and what do I decide to do? I decide to go get my real estate license. So I'm also doing that on the side. It's just, so trying to do real estate, remote learn, work at the hospital. It's been crazy.
Oh, wow. real estate?
Yeah.
What's that like? What's that look like?
I will tell you, it is great. I wanted to do it for years and it just never was the right opportunity. And I decided that, you know what, there never was going to be a right opportunity. So I just dove in and did it. It's been interesting trying to figure out how to see clients and everything with the kids home all the time, but I'm making it work. I'm really excited. And the market's crazy right now. I don't know if you've been reading up on it or not, but interest rates are all-time lows right now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So, but it was so nice chatting with you. Hopefully we can connect sometime soon once, you know, everything gets a little bit back to normal. I'd love to talk further.
Yeah, that'd be great. It was, it was good to hear from you.
Awesome, David. Make sure you give the family my love.
I will, and you as well.
Thanks. Bye now.
All right, bye-bye.
So how did that sound? David, how'd that feel on your end? How did that sound?
That was good. That was good. Didn't feel forced, you know.
Mm-hmm. Salesy at all? Did it feel like that?
No.
Okay. All right. So Melissa, how did it feel for you delivering that, going through that?
Good. I think my biggest fear is being able to give information correctly. And I truly feel that if I'm just honest and be myself, that I'll be able to talk to people okay.
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing that you got to remember too, is that everybody's so afraid because they scare the hell out of you when you take the exam and get the license. And they're like, don't do this. Whatever you, for God's sake, don't do this. And it's like, okay, all right. And then you come out and you're very reserved in what you're doing. Well, listen, unless you're fraudulently going out there and you're purposely doing something wrong that you know is wrong, you know, yes, there can be issues, there can be things that come up, but they can be worked through. All right. That's part of the negotiation that we do. If something comes up and it was a mistake, simple mistake, it is what it is, right? But if you're purposely going out there and you're doing something you know is wrong, yeah, then you can get in trouble and you deserve to. But for the most part, don't, you know, if you don't know something, get the answer. Let them know. It's perfectly good to say, hey, great question. Let me get back to you on that. It is what it is. So.
Yeah, great point that Darren makes. Please don't kid yourself. And as coaches, we're never going to sit here and give you a list of things you shouldn't do. Gary calls it shooting on yourself. Don't do that. So when you get it, you're going to, because the fear as a growing agent is, I don't know everything. Welcome. It's real estate. We're never going to know everything, right? I mean, we're talking about 6 different legalities right now. When we talk about New England, we've got people from 6 different states in this conversation. That being said, you're never going to know all the things. Be comfortable being the source of the source. And I invite our agents to try to refrain from saying, I don't know, I'll find out, and get comfortable saying, great question, Mr. Lindsay, I'll look into that for you. Like Darren just said, right? Great question. Because you're edifying them in the moment saying, you're wicked smart. You asked a wicked good question, kid. You know, like, so great question. Let me look into that for you, because you're admitting I don't have all the resources, although I have all the resources right behind me. I don't have that top of mind. The rules are ever changing. Like when I would ever get a lending question, I would literally look at my watch and be like, it's the 3rd day of the month. I bet your stuff changed 72 hours ago. Let me find out and get right back to you. Because I'd rather, and you'll do this, I trust, as you're building your business. When somebody calls and leaves a voicemail, more often than not, and still now sometimes, as a coach, leverage for Darren and I turns into the fact that when Melissa calls, we're usually in a meeting, and by the time I call you back, you self-discovered the answer, right? As an agent with a client, I'm letting it go to voicemail so I can find the information and get back to them with the answer. Not call back and be like, so I just got your question. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let me go find out, right? Just call back. Yeah, I looked into that for you. Here, it's XYZ, or I'm going to plug you into this resource. My butcher, my baker, my candlestick maker, my lender, my attorney, like all the things, because there's so many things that aren't on our plate, right? And I think somebody might have been listening to what you guys just went through, and like, she never set the appointment. It's the first conversation you've had since 1984. It's about rebuilding the relationship, right? And you inferred the next call too. Look forward to speaking to you again, right? And David was happy to exchange niceties. Give my love to your family as well. And the next time you call, it's a little more comfortable. And now he knows. Hey, how's real estate going? You mentioned you were doing it last time. I am. Great question. We're looking for listings, buyers, and talent. Who do you know that we can help? Right? Because if you show up for the first time in 7 years and you're jamming that down his throat, your mother's never going to take the second phone call, let alone David. He's a nice guy, so because he takes my calls. So that's a patient man right there.
Yeah, I love the idea. I love the idea of letting it go to voicemail so that you
Yeah.
can be
Breathe.
prepared to come
Woosah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they're already engaged with you in a client relationship, you're their person. I'm like, oh my God, the store's not open. We'll get bread next door. Like, no, you're their bread maker. Like they're waiting for your bread. Like you can get back to them in a few minutes. And I heard this when I first started back in 2010. I'm gonna forget his first name. His last name's Fedek. He taught a game. He taught a class called Play Big. Matt Fedek, still with KW, great talent. And this is like my freshman year. And he's like, it's real estate. No one's going to die. And we have to remember that, right? We have to remember that. And just taking ownership. Darren's been talking about this all morning. That all they want to hear is mea culpa, my fault, right? We'll handle it. They want us to hear take ownership of the issue at hand. Nobody's going to die. We're going to get them to the finish line. And there's a great guy named Mike Hill, who does the promise. His whole script, his whole team does is the promise. And he sets the stage by saying, listen, we know historically there's going to be bumps in the road. We're going to take care of those bumps, right? And we promise to deliver great service. Do you promise to allow us to do that for somebody you know or love and trust? And that they're constantly asking for the referral during the transaction. Because when do our clients love us the most? During the transaction, right? When do you sign the prenup? While you're still in love, right? So don't overthink it. Just keep talking to people and keep offering them your best and being honest. Great job.
Great point. Yep, there you go. That was good. That was good. That was good. So tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break, and then what we'll do is we'll get everybody back together. We'll talk about what we shared and what we experienced, some questions and things came up, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So I have right now, let's see, it is 11:12. So let's say about 11:17 here. Okay. Take a quick 5-minute break. Sound good? Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's working out on the tablet file, but it'll be real cool if I got the tablet and computer. Took a while to find that one.
Hey, Deborah. Look at the chat when you get a chance.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Hi, yeah, I just was gonna text you my phone number in the chat.
Oh, okay, great.
Hi, guys. I have a question about the chat. I had to pop off for a second, and now I can't get back to the chat where the scripts were posted. There's nothing in the chat. Anybody have an idea?
If you hop off and then you come back in, you lose the earlier part of it, but we'll repost those again. We'll put those back in there. We're doing it a couple times during that just in case people have to leave and come back. So we'll post those, we'll put those back in there. Plus they'll also be out there on the Facebook page as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
They actually just sent the Google
Got it.
Drive. So if
Thank
you
you.
click on that link and you save it to your Google Drive, you can always have it handy for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great, thanks, guys.
All right, so why don't we chat about what we experienced, what we went through, questions, things like that. So anybody want to talk about how it went for them? Any questions, or what do we have here? What do you guys think of the breakout rooms there, the role playing? I know we had a little bit of a hiccup there. I apologize, but what do you guys think?
It was awesome.
I
Yeah?
love it.
What made it awesome?
Very nice.
It's easier than I thought it would be.
Okay.
It gives us experience. And obviously we can role play with each other. So we're both benefiting off of it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's been great. You know, I love that we've been meeting people around and we're new, so we can practice and laugh and, you know.
Yep. Here's the interesting thing is that you're in a breakout room with one or two other people and everybody's in the industry. So everybody knows what the scripts are like, right? So the challenge is to actually have those conversations, these real estate conversations, the script practicing with these folks so that everybody can help each other get better. It's a judgment-free zone where you just sit there and say, hey, maybe if you tweak this, if you said that, you know, I liked how you said this. All right. And then you'll find when you go out and you talk to the real world, so to speak, or people out there who don't know scripts and are not realtors, okay, that it's so much easier. You can command that conversation very easily. So whether it's a barbecue and somebody's asking you how the market is, or you're actually sitting in a listing appointment and they're asking you and they have some objections, it makes it so much easier. All right. The pressure is when you're practicing with the folks that know the scripts, right? The game, when you're out there and you're talking to real live people, so much easier because of that, right? You push yourself in practice, games are that much easier. So what else? What sort of questions, what sort of things came up that that may have surprised you or that you weren't sure about, or maybe it was a situation that you weren't sure how to handle?
One thing that I liked was I liked the fact to say instead of just going right into, you know, I'm a real estate agent. I think it's great to say that you're building your business and that you did look in your phone and you realized you had to talk to that person and you really wanted to talk to them again and make contact, but also that the reason why you were looking, it's sort of like an honest thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I liked that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you know, I mean, look, I'm building my business and, you know, I'm reaching out to you, I'm connecting with you.
Yeah.
Just checking in how you're doing. I want to be genuine, you know. If you jumped right into the real estate, it wouldn't be genuine, right? But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just having those conversations. All it is, it's all it is, a conversation, right? Honestly, we're not salespeople. We don't have the inventory of homes that we're trying to liquidate, saying like, hey, listen, I knew you're in the market. So I'm telling you, we've got a, you know, 2005 Cape over on Maple Street that I think is right up your alley. I'd love to, you know, what can we do to get you in the door? I mean, it's just, you know, that's not going to happen. So what else? How many people think that after doing that, that they're actually a worse real estate agent now because of that? Yeah, I asked that question. I have yet to get an answer, yes on that one. But hey, listen, I mean, honestly, you know, all those fears and all those uncertainties and stuff like that, hopefully some of that is now whittled away. It's not that hard. Like Tim was saying before, it's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. It's real estate, right? And if we know more than 90% of the people that are out there, okay, it's really, you know, those conversations should be fairly easy, right? We just have to practice them. All right. And think about this. Here's a quote that I always like to say. It's like, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Think about how far you can take the business, right? Just get rid of the, you know, the timidness, you know, being afraid. What would you do if you weren't afraid? We have somebody who's been in our program for a couple of months, and she was like listening in on the role plays that we did, and then jumped in, and, you know, both feet started doing it. And if you talk to her, you'd say like, oh, you know, she seems, you know, she's got to work on it. She's got to build up her confidence. Well, she took the scripts and then she just jumped in, started calling expires. One of the first ones she called was a $2.5 million house. And she's actually been following up with them. Didn't get the no, didn't get the yes, still following up with them. I mean, that takes guts right there to do that, right? Or does it? Maybe it doesn't. As long as you know what you have to say, doesn't matter if it's, you know, 150,000 or 2.5 million, right? Conversation typically going to be the same, right?
Darren, excuse me, would you be calling someone that you maybe only met once, but you have their number and they may be like someone somewhat famous?
Sure. Why not, right? Absolutely. I'm just going to start going down the list, and I'm going to be calling anybody, right?
Okay.
You know, here's the thing you got to remember is that, you know, they may be somewhat famous. You maybe only met them once, but you know, something you did meet them. The whole famous part, I would take that out of the equation. It's just another person, to have a conversation with, you know, again, whether it's a $2.5 million seller or a $150,000 seller, it's just a person on the other end, right? Really no different than you. I mean, you know, I've talked to famous people on the phone. There's a lot of famous people that have the real estate license that people may not know of, but you've had the conversations with them just about real estate business and things like that. But, you know, I'm talking to them as if it was just somebody who was sitting next to me in the classroom, you know? You just have to go out and just talk to everybody. Talk to everybody, right? Have those real estate conversations. And what we talked about before is that bold memory jogger, okay? People that you run into on a regular basis that maybe you know their first name, all right? You know, great thing that you can have on you. Okay, 3 things you can have on you. Number 1 is a name tag, right? That, you know, invites conversation. I know a woman who's pumping gas at a gas station had her name tag on, and the guy across from her is like, hey, I want to sell my house. You think you can come by and talk to my wife and I? What you gonna say? No. You didn't go through the proper channels? No, of course not. She's like, yep, how about Tuesday at 8 o'clock? Boom, done, right? Second thing you want to have is business cards. Yeah, it may be a little old school, but business cards are, you know, the way to go. Third thing is a KW app. Get the KW app on your phone. Select yourself as the agent of choice, and then refer yourself out to everybody. So when they open it up, you're already selected as the agent of choice, right? That's your digital business card right there. Great ways to connect. Somebody's talking to you at a barbecue and stuff like that. Oh, you know, what's going on? We're thinking about maybe buying, but I'm really not sure. Tell you what, here, let me give you the app. You can do some searches, take a look at it. Let me know if there's something in there that you guys want to go see. You know, we can make it happen, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. How about that? Then what do? They log in, they start searching for homes. All that information now is in command. Their contact now officially in command, and you're actually seeing the houses that they're looking at. So great way to just, you know, increase your database. Okay, but talk to everybody. Have real estate conversations with everyone, you know. There's another woman who was in a convenience store, and she was standing behind somebody, and she was, you know, she just had her business card. She reached around to the guy in front of her, and she said, hey, you know, if you're ever looking to do anything real estate related, let me know. The guy looked at her funny and says, hey, you know, as a matter of fact, my wife and I are actually thinking of selling. Can you come by next week? Sure enough. Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Darren.
Yeah.
As a, you know, as an entrepreneur for the good percentage, majority of my life, what I've learned is that, you know, you're creating an experience as well. You know,
Yeah.
so when I had customers opening up the door, and I spoke with my employees, it was always the conversation about what is their experience from the minute they walk in the door to the minute they walk out, and everything in between that needs to be filled in. You know, what does that look like to them? You know, what would you like?
Right.
You know, what services would you like? And just kind of what I've learned over the years is creating these relationships of trust. You know, so when people trust you, the conversation gets a lot easier.
Oh,
You know, it doesn't feel forced, and you don't have to seem like a salesman when you're having these conversations, because it just comes naturally. You know, the conversation like we're having just opens up, and these things, you know, these fragments of the conversation start to move around, these moving parts, and all these doors start to open up, and you have to see the opportunity when those doors open up, when you can kind of intervene and kind of you know, step in and have, you know, kind of go into these different compartments of the conversation. But you kind of just a lot of it is confidence. You know, even if you don't know the information, kind of like we had the discussion, is that you figure it out. You know, you can let them know, you'll get back to them. You know,
yeah,
you know,
I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so there's a lot to learn when you're dealing with people and having interactions with them, and knowing that everyone is different as well. Not every one person is the same, and they need to be treated differently. And the way you convey your message is another very important aspect of conversation. You know, you can't just kind of look at every person and say, well, I'm going to treat them the same as the last 5 people that walked in the door, because they're different, right? So you kind of have to adjust to the personalities that are standing in front of you and make it work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, and that's the thing too, is that the important part that you mentioned there was the trust. Okay. Trust is earned. What do you say? Trust is earned in cups, but lost in buckets, you know? So it takes a while to build up that trust, but once you have somebody's trust, it's a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. Okay. All right, so let's go through here. We just went through some recaps and some ahas. Okay. All right. Now, for those of you that have done the 10 form, okay, I know that we have a few people. We had some people on Monday and a couple people on Tuesday that have done it. But if you've done your 10 form, make sure you fill out that Google sheet. Okay, put that information in there. We're tracking the activities and the things that are going to help you to get your business going. So the more people that are actually doing this, taking action, okay, as we like to say in the beginning there, taking the action, then you're going to get your business going a lot sooner than those that aren't. So make sure that you actually fill out that Google sheet, put your things in there. All right. And get as many scripts as you can, okay? And really start to practice as often as you can. All right. If you don't have a script practice session in your market center, put one together. If you have one, jump in and participate. Listen in a few times and then just go for it, right? Learn how other agents handle objections. Learn how they have conversation. The biggest thing you can do is just immerse yourself in it and learn these, make them your own, and find out how other agents handle it. I mean, you know, I love to hear how other agents actually handle objections, because you're always going to learn something new, right? So whether it's somebody on a national stage at family reunion doing it, or if it's actually one of the local folks who's got a great way of saying like, hey, you know, this is how you handle that objection, you know, take it, you know, R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? Doesn't, you know, hey, no big deal. It's fine, right? But make sure that you're out there and actually doing that. All right, learn the scripts and then go out there and set the appointments and have those conversations. That's a great way to do that. Okay. Anybody have any confidence? Any questions at this point? I'm hoping you all have confidence, but does anybody have any questions at this point? Anybody have anything that that we've covered or anything that came up that need us to answer?
I have a question.
Yeah. Okay, Brian.
Regarding the cards, what do you suggest as far as like a format for a card? Because I'm thinking about ordering some.
Yeah, you might just check with your market center that you have there. They may actually have a vendor that they use or something like that. You know, KW is great because the vendors they have very unique business card styles. So there's always.
Well, I've got the business cards. I was talking about like the handwritten note cards.
Oh, handwritten note cards. So just anything is fine, really. You know, because generally you're gonna handwrite the cards and you can put in your business card at that point. But anything that you see out there, a lot of the blank ones out there are perfectly acceptable. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks.
Sure.
Darren, I have a question.
Okay.
Are we still using the Kelly app, or is that, you mentioned the KW app, is that 2 different things?
Yeah, 2 different things. The Kelly app was basically going to be our easy access on the phone to the Keller Williams, like the network internally. what they're doing is they're revamping that to be Command Mobile. So eventually it's going to be transformed at some point soon into the Command Mobile app, because right now Command isn't really formatted for a phone, but they're going to take that Kelly app and turn it into that. You can access Command through Kelly, but it's very cumbersome in the way it is right now in the format. So they'll actually, so it's good to have it. They're probably not a lot of use for it right now, but it will eventually become Command Mobile.
So is there a separate actual KW app, or is
Yes,
this going
yeah.
to
If you
transfer?
go into the App Store, it's basically a white button with a red KW on it.
Okay. All right. Excellent. I think I had that and I lost it somehow. Thank
Yeah,
you.
when you go into the app, you're going to have to log in the first time, just as any client would. And then when you go in, you just select yourself as the agent of choice.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
I have a question about that. So I have the KW app on my phone, and when I pull it up on my phone, it's got all of my information, you know, my email address, phone number, and everything. And then it says to share the link. If I share that link to somebody else, will that be specific to me?
It should, but the way to really guarantee it is if you click on the very top where you have your profile and says view my profile, and then underneath there's a second way to actually send the app, and it says refer this agent. And when you click view my profile, it says refer agent. There's a nice little message that says, hey, this is the KW agent I was telling you about. And then you can text it, email it, all that stuff. So that way it's directly from you as the agent.
Jared, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Sure. What you want to do is you want to go on more on the right-hand side so that you get to the point where it says, okay, you've got you at the very top there. It says, as the agent of choice. And it says view profile. Click on view profile. Once you're in there, there's a button down at the bottom that says refer agent. And then
okay.
That's where you can actually send it to folks.
And that will carry my information over to whoever I share it with. It'll show me as the agent of choice.
Yes, it should. It should.
Okay.
Right?
I'll test it with my partner.
Saying that with 99% certainty here, but there's always a chance, right? There's always a possibility. But no, that should be it though. Yep.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Can I just say something about my app? When I share my app, I'm still apprehensive to send it out because it doesn't, you can't click on it. Even yesterday or Monday, mine came back with an error, invariant violation.
Okay, yeah, now we're getting into like tech speak at this point.
What is it?
We're getting into kind of the tech speak at this point. So what I would do is, do you have a tech trainer in your office?
Yes.
Okay, just reach out to them. There might be something that went on with that in terms of like maybe the login and the setup and stuff like that. I would just check with them and see if they might be able to either, basically take the app off and then reinstall it. And maybe there's something to do with that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
They'll
you.
be able to help you out. Sure. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Colleen, do we have any questions in the chat at all or anything that may have come up?
I have a question.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if this is too advanced or something that's probably I'm shooting too high, but what is the best way to find contractors and developers for new construction listings?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's regional for you. What I would say is the way that I always tell our agents that if they're looking for recommendations on things, if I don't have a recommendation, we have a Facebook page. And since we're a sharing environment, all you have to do is post a question on there and you get an answer back from, 4 or 5 agents within a few minutes saying like, hey, I'm looking for a builder in X town over here. So if you don't have anybody on hand, see if anybody else out there knows.
So just post it on the Facebook page, the Ignite page?
I don't know if I do the Ignite page. Do you have a Facebook page for your market center?
Yes.
Yeah, just do it on there.
That's where I go. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
When I look up for the KW app, I get KW app Realty International for that white button with the red KW on it.
Okay.
That's not what I want.
It's the white button with red KW on there. Does it say KW Realty International? Is that what it is? KWRI?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's basically the parent company.
It is. So that's what I want to put on. That's what I want to download.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
It's the white app with the red KW on there.
Yep.
Does somebody have another question too? I thought somebody was jumping in with another question.
It's Callie. I was going to say that if you search for the KW app
you can write buy and sell after it, which I think distinguishes it from the international.
It says buy and sell estate, Keller Williams Realty International, even on the buy and sell.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
You'll be able to get in there. You'll be able to see it in the format that's there.
thank you though.
Sure. All right, so now's the time where we actually want to go and we want to put our skills to the test here, okay? So at this point, biggest thing that we can do is actually go out there, start getting the experience. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to take what we learned here today. We want to start reaching out to those folks that we know. All right, take a look at our sphere of influence, either in your phone, email, social media, okay? Start talking to people and letting them know that you're a KW agent. So take the script books that you have here, okay, where you're either new to real estate, new to Keller Williams, okay, or looking for referrals, reminding them you're in real estate, whatever it may be, all right? And let's start putting these to use. It's one thing to sit there and get the knowledge to build our confidence, but until we actually go out and take the action, we're not going to get the experience, all right? And the two of those go hand in hand. So what we're going to do now, we'll do it for probably the next 23 minutes. So we'll reconvene at noon, all right? Let's basically keep our cameras on, all right, put ourselves on mute and go through and let's start making some calls to some folks or sending text messages or social media, whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And let's start contacting folks, right? We could sit here all day and wait for our phone to ring, but it's not going to happen if people don't know we're a real estate agent, right? So we want to go out there, stop being a secret agent, get in front of people and start making some calls there, okay? And then what we'll do is reconvene at noon and we'll see how everybody made out, okay? Does that make sense? Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right. All right, how are we doing? How do we make out? Anybody want to share anything that they had?
I just picked up a buyer.
Nice. Good job, Laura. Excellent. Way to go. I love it. Love it. Very good. What else?
Picked up 3 buyers.
3 buyers. Byron, nice job. We're going to have to talk about that here. Great job.
Talking about one of them already, so it's if you remember.
Yeah, that's right. We did have that conversation, so really good. Yeah, we'll touch base on that.
I give you some feedback on that.
Okay. Well done. Well done. This is great. This is terrific. What else?
I left some voicemails and some text messages for people to get back to, so I wasn't able to have any conversations, but trying to queue some up.
Okay. Yeah, but here's the thing though, too. You're taking action, right? You know, a lot of times you're gonna have your good days and you're gonna have your bad days. There are gonna be good days where it's you know, I get 3 appointments, you know, in one sitting, which is fantastic. And there are gonna be other times where like you go a day, you don't get anything. But you've taken the action, you've done the work, and it's gonna be the follow-up where you're gonna get the appointments and things like that, right? You continue to follow up with people, they're gonna know you're serious. So taking the action and doing it is just as good, just as good. I had a call with somebody who's in our program right here, definitely afraid, pick up the phone. She did a couple of role plays that didn't go well for her, but she's like, you know something, screw it. I'm calling it spot expires in the town she lives in. She actually talked to 3 people, set 1 appointment, has a follow-up call this afternoon with one of them, and another one, she has an appointment next week. So, and that's just, I think 12 calls that she made. She just jumped right in. She's like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. So
awesome.
Good things happen when you take action. Trust me. What else? What other things do we have here?
I did the same thing. I sent 3 text messages because I didn't want to be in the middle of a conversation, say, oh, I gotta go.
That's okay. That's fine. You know, having the conversations with the clients is better than talking to me. I'll tell you that much. So, good. What else? What else? That's good. This is all good stuff. This is really good.
Seems like my New York connections working out pretty well right now. A friend of mine put me in contact with a friend of his who's an investor. And he has 5 properties in Connecticut that he's looking to sell. He's but that and my brother-in-law in New York is selling his $1.5 million house.
Oh, wow. Oh.
So could maybe do a referral out there.
There you go. Well, was it a shed? 1.5 million? Jeez.
Right on the water.
Beautiful. That's excellent. That's really good. That's good. That's good. I mean, hey, this is all from people actually just doing stuff, right? You know, and how many of you felt like you knew the entire library of scripts in order to have that conversation, right? Even I'm not going to raise my hand and jump in that cesspool there. No, it's just, hey, you don't know all the scripts. You're never going to learn all the scripts, but you don't have to. When you're calling your spear and you're taking the action, you're reaching out to them. It's just having the conversations and things come up. It happens. Beautiful thing. Well done. Well done. So excellent. These are all good things. These are really good. So anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Well, this video is going to
I do.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kelly. Yeah. Okay.
So when you're trying to call expireds, where do you get their phone number?
That's a great question because you're going to have that conversation with the folks in your market center. The biggest thing that you want to realize, and this is something that's really important. So when you start calling people that you don't know, okay, you want to be careful of the do not call list, okay? Do not call list, if you violate that, that could be anywhere from a $10,000 to a $40,000 fine. You know, and if you've got that extra cash laying around, good for you. Most people don't. But you want to actually have a list of expireds that come from a source that scrubbed those against the do not call list. All right. Now, with expireds, it's very important that number 1, you make sure that they've already been scrubbed against a do not call list. Number 2, you make sure that they haven't been relisted, okay, so that they've already signed with somebody. You know, and number 3, you want to make sure that the agent that previously had the listing wasn't a KW agent, because if it was, you want to ask them permission. You have the opportunity to reach out. All right. Expireds are a different animal altogether, but you want to make sure that you're not violating rules, and the do not call list is the biggest thing. So check with your market center. Each market center has their own rules about that, about the source and getting things like that. Now, that's not to say that expireds are different than for sale by owners. For sale by owners, as long as they're posting their information on Zillow or for salebyowner.com, Fizbo.com, okay, then more often than not, you can call them because their information is now public. They're asking people to call them, okay? If it's somebody that you know on your phone and somebody you've had a conversation with, somebody from your sphere, okay, you don't have to worry about that because they know you. You've had that conversation with them, all right? They may be on the do not call list, but then if they're, if you're calling them up to see how their latest vacation went, they're going to say, hey, I'm on the do not call list. Don't call me. I don't know if they were much of a friend to begin with, but those people you don't have to worry about. It's the expireds really are the big thing. And before you start jumping in, going to MLS and getting a list of expireds, make sure that you have a conversation with your market center about that, right? Because there are attorneys that are out there in other organizations that purposely put a phone number out there that is specifically on the do not call list, hoping to catch people calling that number, okay? So, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
I also noticed that I tried to call a for sale by owner on Zillow, and I ended up getting a call from a salesperson on Zillow who wants to take my information and kind of like sell me their lead generation packets, and I just felt like it was a dead end.
Yeah. Well, see, they pulled the old sales switch on you right there. So
yeah.
Yeah, you don't need that. You don't need that. There's so many ways to lead generate without spending any money. You don't have to go out and pay leads because then you become beholden to whatever that source is and you're not building your business. Okay. You want to learn how to do it the right way. You want to learn how to build your business your way. All right. What else? What are the questions? Do you have any?
I had a question.
Yep.
How do you find people that may be in foreclosure trouble and looking to sell or make a quick sale maybe?
Well, this is a conversation that you want to have with your sphere of influence, right? When you're talking to them, okay, next level of conversation that you have is how are things going? If they say that, really they're, lost their job, things are difficult right now, you may want to talk to them and say like, listen, before it gets to the point where, the bank's going to take your house involuntarily, all right, maybe we should look at options of potentially selling so that you can protect the equity that's in your house, right? So when you have the conversation with your sphere of influence, you can do that. There are services out there that you can actually find what they call a high sell score. Now, the high sell scores that they have in some of these services are based on the amount of equity somebody has in the home or the amount of time they've been in there. I don't know if they have anything based on foreclosures, but some of those instances, if a house is in a pre-foreclosure, there might be an opportunity to sell. If it's a full-fledged foreclosure and the bank is taking it over, well, the bank has their own resources with which to put on the market. So it's very difficult unless you're partnered with a bank and you develop that relationship with, which is usually a tight-knit group of agents that are in there. It may be hard to get that information ahead of time.
Can you find houses that are in pre-foreclosures, or can you look that up somehow?
There might be some services out there that you can do that. I don't know of any at the moment. You can actually, in the MLS that we have in our region, you can actually check on bank-owned properties. I don't know if there's anything for pre-foreclosure because that can be, a tricky process, to be honest with you, but I don't know of any sources other than that, unfortunately. More often than not, you've got to be an agent that's connected to a lender that has an inventory of homes that they're looking to put out there, or something along those lines. But best conversation you can have to help people is people in your database, your sphere of influence. Have that conversation with them. So if things are tough and they start going down that path, say, hey, listen, there might be a way that I can help you out. Anything else? Everybody good? All
Thanks
right.
very much, Darren.
Yep, absolutely. This video and the materials are going to be on the Facebook page, so you'll be able to watch it in a little while. But you guys have my contact information. I'll put it in the chat again. Let's see, I put it at the beginning. So you have any questions, or if anything comes up based on what we talked about here, let me know. Be happy to help out. You also have some great resources. You've got, productivity coaches, reach out to them, or your leadership, or your ALC, or other folks in your Market Center, reach out to them. I mean, like I said, we're a sharing environment. We're always willing to help everyone out if anybody has any questions or if anybody needs anything, okay?
Darren, you may have DM'd your contact information. It didn't pop up in the chat.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see that there. There you go. I sent it to Sharon, so didn't realize I had a private chat going with her. There you go. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Ryan. All right. But yeah, thank you for attending. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys keep up the work, practice those scripts, get an accountability partner, talk to them. That is the biggest thing. That's your homework for right now. Partner up with somebody or multiple people, and then script practice and take action. The biggest thing that you can do is take action. If you can leave it, you know, with anything today, it's just to go out and take the action. All right. That way you're bound to have things happen. We just proved it a few minutes ago with all of the success stories that we have with folks here, right? Okay. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Have a great day, and you know, get some appointments there. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.